morning. We begin with breaking news out of Central Texas. That white Chevrolet Suburban behind me, locals call it the Cocaine Land Yacht. We begin with breaking news from Central Texas. A white Chevrolet Suburban, nicknamed the Cocaine Land Yacht, led authorities on a slow-speed pursuit this afternoon on I-35 near Waco. Sky News 5 is crawling down Interstate 35 with a convoy. 5 captured these live images as 5 units from the Department of Public Safety and local police followed closely behind the 1997.
The block got hot, so we went into hiding, let things cool off for almost 2 years. But now, it's time. It's time to bring the public enemy back to life. Because when this big body bourbon is active, the streets don't stay quiet. It's time to revive the Cocaine Land Yacht.
Pull up to the spot, they heard me 10 blocks back for real. Crack the concrete at the light, making body panels peel. Turning heads before they see me, got the baddest bitches grinning. Giving out demos while I'm counting money, ain't no ending. Rolling deep with Bangin Bros, you know we shut the city down. More attention than your favorite.
Man, there is a lot of work to be done. So we are going to be reviving the Cocaine Land Yacht, the CLY, my 1997 Chevrolet Suburban that has 615s, 3 8Ks, dual speakers on each door, tweeters in the A-pillars, horns towards the back. This bourbon is full of Easter eggs, and we're going to show you every little bit of it, and we're going to update it and revive it. So what we have is we have new batteries, new amplifiers, and a lot of things to reinstall back inside because they were taken apart for different reasons, whatever it is. You know, it also has the dual 350 amp alternators that were built by Apex Alternators, and so that is another little treat. But the goal so far right now is to get this thing back up turnkey banging. That's the point. Get it up and banging. So what we're going to do in this video is going to pull out all of the stuff that it's going to be just have to be reinstalled. But we thought, would it be harder to start where we left off, or would it be easier to sort of backtrack, pull some of the items and reinstall them in new ways just to make it all flow? After talking with Mike and Butters, that's going to be the battle plan. Pull things out and then reinstall them in a new, fresh way so that it all comes together very nicely. And we're going to make it better than it was before. That's the point. Better than it was before. So let me get back to work. Let's see how this thing goes.
We've come to a pretty cool point. The actual board itself, the rack itself, is out. And now that leaves us with everything that was underneath and all the wires that were on top and all this other stuff. And so now we can see, okay, how can we do this better? And, well, I mean, some of this stuff was just tucked back behind there too. And then all the other things, because, you know, there's a lot of different components that have been through out there, different amplifiers and DSPs and all sorts of things, that we're going to do this a totally different way. It'd just be easier to yank everything out and go from there. So talking about some of the components, the down for sound in MM 100x4, that's what ran the horns and the tweeters, and that's exactly what it will do for the rest. The Illis Sound splitter box. This was a cool thing that Illis made me. It was really neat. It wanted to be really photogenic. Took a bunch of cool pictures and stuff. It was really, really cool. I only used about half of it, and we'll see if we can continue to use it. But this one just really, really dope item that helped us with the splitting. And we'll see how, because I had 3 4-channel amplifiers before, and that, you know, that's going to be a little different. We're only going to go to it with this rebuild, at least for now. You never know when you got to add more. All the cheap Scar RCAs, yeah, well, you know, what are you going to do? And then, of course, the crowning jewels. We got the SMD items, the ground distro, and the 4-spot fuse. I'm not sure, XL or something. I don't know what it was. It's an older model, but it works fantastic. The LF audio voltmeter was underneath. This was really cool. You could just see the voltage right underneath it. Really nice. It was their first thing that ever came out from LF audio, and now he does such innovative things. Very neat just to have that as a kind of an Easter egg underneath the thing to keep an eye on the voltage. Very cool. Actually, we might try to put that up towards the front. Try to use it a little bit better, because it's an excellent reader, very accurate. But the MM 100x4 is going to meet up with the
JP 284. Got me a 284 in the white gloss. Now, yeah, the MM100x4 and the 284 are not going to be the same color, and so it is what it is. But it'll represent blue and white, and that's what the bourbon is, blue and white. The 284 will look really, really good. We'll open that up here in a little bit whenever it's time to install everything. But proud of that one. That'd be really cool. Next to the Down for Sound XP28. Some of you guys have already seen that one on social media. Boy, that stirred up a craze, man. But the truth of the matter is that the XP28 really is the only DSP in that under $120, $130 budget DSP with a dial. I guess what I'm getting at. You guys know. Don't act like you don't know. The ones with the dial, everyone's in a craze about who's the best, who's the this, who's the that. Look, as far as all those that are concerned that are on the market, none of them have the Tiffany RCAs. I think that sets this one apart of being something that has that extra quality to it that the others don't. I'm just saying that I think it's a good thing to have if you don't have one. That's about it. All right. And the other thing that we're going to do that we weren't so sure about is doing a full rewire for all the speakers in the doors, but we agreed as a group that it would be the best route to go. So I had just so happened to buy a 250-foot spool of the Down for Sound OFC Superflex 14 gauge, and now we can just rerun everything all fresh, and it'll be all nice, good wire that we can count on down the road. That's the big thing about the OFC. You want something that you can count on down the road, and it's not going to corrode and give you failures, because I've seen that many times using the wire cheap. That's experience using the cheap wire and having a failure, whether it be at the speaker itself, at the amplifier itself. That wire just corrodes, it gets weak, it gets brittle and breaks. And then you're like, why did my subs cut off that day? Why did my door speaker cut off? Why is this tweeter doing this? You're like, oh crap, it's this corroded wire. And it corrodes, even though it's covered by the sheath, it corrodes all the way through. So it can fail at any point. It's kind of, but it is good on a budget. So that's why it's still something that's viable in the market. It's still good on a budget, and people don't necessarily know the difference. So that's why I was just wanting to explain to you. So the 14 gauge OFC Superflex will give us that reliability down the road. That's it. So pulling out some of the wire, you can tell this one is a CCA and it is corroded. I'm not sure what we were using this one for, but that's kind of what it does over time. And yeah, I mean, there's still some wire there, and you could brush it off, reinsert it, and call it a day. Or this. And there are levels to this. There are worse CCA than there is. There are some brands that just really, really suck and really want to stay away from. The Garrett brand, that's when this one was, just as the example, the Garrett brand that was on Amazon. But some of this, like this is install gear, the Scar Audio, and a lot of this is CCA, just pieces that were snipped together to make things work over the years. So it'd be nice to just kind of get this in the past and move on to the new stuff. Oh, fantastic. There's no fucking wires right here. Oh no. I should note, before we started any of this teardown, we took the fuses out. So there's no power that was going towards the back. And then as you saw, the batteries have already been pulled. Those batteries just kind of went bad. And I am going with the lithium in the back. I'll reveal that here later in the video. But the lithium, that will give us a lighter load towards the C-pillar area. And that'll be nice just for, obviously having the bigger reserve. And then up front, we will put a super cap, just like my pickup truck does, has a super cap up front that goes down to the lithium reserve in the back. So I mentioned the CCA wire for the speakers, but that's one thing about this bourbon that never cheaped out on was CCA for the power and grounds. Everything is OFC, and we're gonna gather up all the stuff that's still here because it's great stuff. This is all Down for Sound Superflex, used years ago, still doing excellent, no corrosion, no issues. So we're definitely gonna keep reusing this one because this stuff gets a little expensive. Reuse as much as we can, and then figure out what we need to buy for the rest. That's okay though. We've got a lot of it from here, and then we'll just reuse it with the new setup that we're building in here. But the OFC is the way to go for power and grounds. That's where you don't cheap out on, unless you don't really care about the system that much. all the battery terminals and the, this is some of the, oh, this is actually CT Sounds. Well, we're talking about wire. CT Sounds OFC. Yeah, pretty good stuff too. I think I had a roll of that before. I bought like 2 big spools of the Down for Sound stuff to do stuff years ago or whatever. I don't know.
Mine? Did you just hit me? Straight through, dude.
There you go. This is one of the most pain in the ass things about doing the wire is the pulling the B pillar plastics. This one is a pain in the ass compared to anything else. But honestly, the most pain in the ass panel that I've ever dealt with was the one that's in this back here, because this is the 99 that has the 2 doors and then just the 1 door on this side. That one's the most pain in the ass panel I've ever pulled. But these B panels, the B pillar panels, they rank up there as sucks. One thing we just pulled out of the Bourbon was the bass knob. This is the LAF. I got this one. Well, I mean, they have serial numbers, but I have an LAF in my truck and now I have LAF in both of them. They're very good knobs. So these are like super quality. There's not one issue with this thing from the day it was put in. That is amazing. I've had it in there for some years now. So dope. But anyway, so we'll just reinstall this whenever it gets reinstalled, you know. So we got the Bourbon out of the garage. Holy crap, man. And it's turned over, and me and Butters took it around the block 3-4 times. Got a little extra gas, got some extra coolant, got some extra windshield wiper fluid. And man, this thing, it reminds me of how fun this thing was to drive. It ain't fast, but man, it just cruises the roads. So currently we have just a Group D3400. And that was just to get it cranked over and started. I had that extra battery, but what I'm giving some time for is I showed you on that earlier clip, the X-Max 90. And so that one has been on the lithium charger. I have the 25 amp LI1225 from Excess Power. And so that one, I literally just pulled that battery off. Gosh darn it. I just pulled that battery off of the charger, and I got a second one. What? I got a second one. So X-Max 90, it has a twin brother. So now we'll take the screws. Where are them screws at? They give you one for the positive, one for the negative. And then you can put battery terminals, which we have here. I'm getting ahead of myself. You have battery terminals, and there's so many spots to put things. I mean, geez, man, I'm gonna have a countless amount of possibilities of actually having stuff to put wire on and whatnot. But then after we put the screws on there, then I'll hook it up to the lithium charger, and then the lithium charger just kind of does its thing for however long it needs just to top it off. That's really what it is. This one has a protection feature to it where it lights up double red whenever it's charging, and then one of the reds turns into a green light, and that tells you that your batteries are good to go. So before you install any battery, whether it be Excess Power or any battery, it's always good fresh out the box to give it a one last bit charge. That D3400, we pulled it out of its box, and the first thing I did was hook it up to my Excess Power IntelliCharger. Good, get it topped off, because you never know. That thing could be sitting in the warehouse for 2 months, could be sitting in the warehouse for 6 months. You just never know. Hell, it could have been off the assembly line, a couple days ago. You just never know. So it's always best just to go ahead, fresh battery, give it a fresh charge, and that's exactly what we're doing with the X-Max 90. And then after we get those things charged up, we'll move on to the SB 1000 Group 31. So the Group 31 will go under the hood where that D3400 is, and then the X-Max 90s will go in the back, and that's what all the audio system will be hooked up to. The cap will be up front to help us turn the truck over, and they'll all just work together and marry together very nicely. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. You know, this thing hasn't started in over a year. All I had to do was charge up that D3400, drop it in, and this thing started up on the first crank. It was like it never ever sat. I mean, and a good old bow tie, baby, that good old Chevy bow tie, man. So we're just letting it run right now. We put some more coolant in there, just kind of let it circulate and get going. And then that's what me and Butters are working on today, just kind of checking the things, making sure the tires are aired up. We took it around the block, see if there was any mechanical issues, because if your ride doesn't ride right, then how's the system going to bump down the road, right? Excess power batteries, bro. You guys know this. Excess power, I've been using their batteries for so many years, over a decade, and every one of them, the logo is all I need to see. If you want to build your own battery for 150 bucks, that's on you, man. With me, the reason why the Bourbon had to sit for so long is because I had to save up money for these lithiums. So we had to put a little bit aside every month, and then boom, I went up to Excess Power, called up my homeboy Remy, and we got a battle plan engaged for what I'm doing here. If you need any Excess Power batteries, go over to Showtime Electronics. If you use coupon code Bangin Bros, you'll get an additional discount, and you'll get the lowest prices that I honestly can't find an Excess Power battery listing that's any cheaper than going to Showtime Electronics and using the coupon code Bangin Bros. So if you're like me and you want quality and you want to rely on the brand logo that you put on there, look no further, bro. Let's see what's next. So we're back and the Bourbon is rolling. We did put the X-Max 90s in the rear and the Super Cap up front. Oh man, it married together so fantastic. I loved it. And so I'll show you that here in a little bit. But Mike, as we are starting on what kind of wiring and where we're going to put the amplifiers back under the middle seat. Sorry for the glare. I didn't even think about it. And so that's kind of mapping out the battle plan for the underseat amp rack and the JP84, the MM100x4, and the DSP, the fuse block, all those different things, and just kind of seeing what else I got to buy to piece this puzzle back together. I already have to buy some wire, but Down for Sound is out of the exact wire that I need, the OFC Superflex. So I got to wait a little bit, and I had some CCA. Don't tell nobody, the video ain't over yet. I put some CCA in there as a placeholder, and then there's the absolute shortest runs connecting the batteries. But the CCA will just hang on there for a little bit, and then we'll swap it out for the OFC whenever it is in stock, and I can order some more of that. So the X-Max 90 sitting there pretty. Remember, those X-Max 90s are a Group 31 battery case, and the previous batteries were the XP3000s, also a Group 31. So for my install, it was as simple as swapping the batteries out and marrying the capacitor. That's, we got the 2 0-gauge runs going into this battery, and then the other 2 go around and snake to that battery, and then that battery is grounded to the frame with 2, and then 2 more hit right there, and then we got the wire that connects it there, and then I will swap that out and add an extra one whenever the wire's in stock. But we're not turnkey banging right now. We're worried about filling all this with the good stuff. And then all that extra wire, I had to box it up so I could use the table for the Excess Power video. If you guys have seen that one, go check it out. We talked a little bit more about the batteries. So this is just all the wire that I have. Just going to try to use as much as we can, and then anything that comes up to play that's a CCA wire, that's where we will replace it with the Down for Sound wire. Where is it at? Oh, there it is. The Down for Sound wire. We'll swap that out and it'll be better. There's that previous amp rack, and it's still in good condition. I'll probably just clean it off and then just set it right back where it was, and yeah, we'll just reuse it because it's what is this? This is a half-inch birch coated with the Second Skin Spectrum, the same stuff that is on my truck. Same stuff, good stuff. Second Skin Spectrum. So me and Micah were working on and putting all the components that will go on the amp rack and just kind of checking the layout before we even put down one screw or one wire or one anything. Kind of want to see to make sure it all fits. So we got the MM 100x4, the SMD distro and fuse block, and then as we just unboxed, you might see a video on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and here on YouTube Shorts of the JP284. Now, unfortunately, my model was one of the models made in China. I'm not sure, Micah, we just unboxed a 234 from Micah's Bourbon that was the made in Korea version. And that's what I was looking forward to. This one here was, oh man, it's going to have all the great features, the internal fan, all that stuff. And so this one is one of the, I guess, the older models, and we'll just have to run with it and go with it. I mean, it still has the same warranty and still does great power on the dyno video, but we'll have to be mindful of its temperature, just like the 234 was in it before. But I was kind of hoping they would be like Micah's. Micah's has been very durable, stays cool on its own, and of course it sounds just as good as any other 234. It's amazing. So, well, we'll just enjoy it, and at least it matches the bourbon. You got to look at your half glass full here, guys. Where'd all that wire go, bro? Oh no, me and Micah we just took everything out, organized everything. This is all power wire from 4 gauge to 0 gauge. Everything we have left. We're doing inventory to see what we need, what we don't need, and then all of the wire that was out of the bourbon, if it was worth keeping, as far as length, or like these are a bunch of great Y splitters that we could reuse again, things that could be reused. This wire was a really long length, even though it's a CCA, and not so that we can use, but in case a pickle comes up and you just got to have some wire, or somebody needs something. There's a lot of times, or maybe Micah or even Butters or even one of my brothers that might need a little bit of wire. So it's not worthless. We're not going to do that in the bourbon. And all the extra leftovers, just little snip bits that really wouldn't be worth a darn. I think it's a CCA. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. Everybody's got that big old box of wire, and so this was just organizing the RCAs, and there's even more RCAs in here. Whenever I was, designing out how I wanted to do my little install shop in the garage or whatever, I always wanted it to be that all the things were accessible and easy to get to. Okay, my ferrules are there, my fuses are there, my electrical tape's there, anything integration, LOCs. I have so many SMD things, SMD parts, and so battery lugs, and there's a lot of miscellaneous stuff. And then the wire, leftover wire, and then this was a cooling fan tray, but I'll rip that off. I mean, once you see all that wire, yeah. And we'll go from there. And me and Micah were kind of working on the layout. I mean, this is crooked over here, but we were, I don't need the 4-channel anymore, or the four spot fuse holder. I used to have 3 4-channel amplifiers in here, and so now I will only have 2. And so, maybe I can use my dual fuse thing. And then the down for sound DSP, that's the lowest, the cheapest, the simplest one. It'll get its job done. And then distro block, and then the mini max. So this might be the layout, and then we're talking about doing RCAs underneath, and then doing the power wires on top. So they splits that, but it could be the other way around. You never know. That was just us seeing what the test layout would be, and then figuring out what kind of wires that we have and do not have to hook up all those things, and just kind of going from there. Me, Butters, and Micah just wrapping up on some of the rewiring under the amp rack so that everything connects up. Let me show you what progress we've made. So this will all be under the amp rack, but we have all the wires ran for the horns, the wires ran for the tweeters, so that's good. We didn't have to rewire those because the wire we used was good wire. And then we got the remote wires. This comes from the radio. Then this one goes to the sub amps. And then all the excess we'll just trim whenever we do the actual speakers. You'll see that at the end of the video. We got the RCA that goes to the bass knob, the RCA that comes from the radio itself, all the RCAs there. Yeah, not bad. I mean, I know it didn't look like a lot in the fucking video, but then the amp rack will just lay on top, and we'll have all those things in the same orientation that I showed you earlier in the video. Also found a couple rogue wires. See, this one actually goes to the rear bank, so we can bring power from the rear bank to the front of the truck. So that one we still got to run. Let's see, this green one right here, this is actually a auxiliary frame ground. I had done a frame ground a long time ago with some OFC, and it goes right to the frame, right there. Right through. No grommet, no nothing. That's big balls. And so that's a frame ground. Just in case you got to tap into up here for anything and you want a legitimate ground, there's a legitimate one right there. Although I think it would be better if it was ran to the battery bank. So maybe we won't use it. Maybe we will. I don't know. You never know what you got to do it with. All the wire up here, we use the multimeters to figure out where all the wires go. Some of it goes to switches, some of it goes to lights, some of it goes to voltmeter, some of it goes to this or that. We just had to figure out where it all was. It's been a while since we actually put it in. But yeah, doing great, man, doing great. Then up here, we got the super cap done, ready to go, all charged up. That was charged earlier. It's been amazing. Oh my God, having the super cap is like God sent, bro. Just to have one, it's so badass. And then back here, as you can see, the X-Max 9D, baby. The other one over there too. And so that one, I'm waiting on some extra wire to come through so we can swap this one out. And once that wire delivers, then we'll do a little bit of swappy McSwappy pants. Little by little, man. The more complex the build, the more small little tasks that stack up and stuff. And then as far as the door speakers, you know, I have the DD door speakers, and I think we're gonna just put them back in because they were great speakers, but eventually I'd like to get rid of them in general and put something else in there. I don't know, you know, I'm a fan of big fan of the Down for Sound speaker, so maybe Down for Sound, maybe another brand, just depends. Yeah, you know, Down for Sound's the biggest one where I know their equipment really well, so I know what to put in there. I know what would work. I know what would sound good. I know how to tune it. Either way, it's doing great, doing great. So, like I said, the video isn't over till the video's over. Look at what we got in the mail. Down for Sound, Superflex wire. Got plenty of power, plenty of ground, ready to go. I got 10 feet of both. And look at this, dude. They even sent some free grommet thingies. Nice. I don't know if we'll use them, but sure as hell don't mind setting it in the tool stash or the audio stash. Where should it go? For now. But we are going to be swapping out that CCA wire from earlier in the video and go ahead and having it the matching 1/0. We got the whole crew here. We got Butters, we got Micah, we got Broski, and right now the Bourbon is finally getting some of that Down for Sound Superflex 14 gauge OFC. And right now we are going to be running new runs to this spot right here, so it can pop right out and play on the JP284. Already ran the ones over there I showed you earlier. They already ran the horns and tweeters over there, but the 284 is going to be taking care of all the doors. Then we'll get on to the speakers. So we're getting to the wire swap there, getting that CCA out of there. Hey, look, what? I mean, if you're watching this video, that CCA was only in here for like, what, 15 minutes? That's what I'm saying, man. Already ran all the wires for the doors. The doors are ready to go. It's getting a little bit more on the dusk side, so we're gonna put the speakers in another day. And then I've been working on the dash, putting in the LF audio voltmeter. I haven't actually installed it yet. I did all the wiring for it because the previous wiring on the previous voltmeter, it just didn't line up. So, I mean, it's the same shit. You need a power ground and a remote. You don't need nothing crazy. The LF actually has a measure one too, an extra one that's kind of like optional, but that's the benefit of having that LF voltmeter is it's so nice, high class, high quality. I like it. So getting that OFC wire, man, look at this fresh tinned OFC. Nice. You know, we'll be swapping out that CCA. This is some old CCA. I'm even sure this had corrosion in it, but it was only for the 15 minutes that it was in. You know what I'm saying? Getting the right lengths out, and then we'll trim all the extra excess too, just so it you know, you don't have any extra overhang over extra slack. All nice. And then there is that Down for Sound OFC 14 gauge. That'll be nice, much better than before. Man, we found that the last wire did have corrosion in it, and so previously I was having some issues with one of the speakers in the back doors. That was probably the culprit, so gosh darn it. But now we ain't gotta worry about it. Fresh connections, fresh connectors, and ready to ride. So there it is. Now there's no CCA back here. There's no CCA in the whole damn truck. The OFC Superflex
grounds, powers. We still got to hook up the amplifier fuse holders, and then, you know, we still got to obviously work on the amp rack. Can't be working on it when they're sitting on it. But there it is, man. No CCA. I love it. I love it. I fucking love it. Looky there, even had some extra wire to spare. I did buy a little extra just in case I needed something that went from the battery bank to the amps or anything like that. I do have plenty to do that exact purpose, but I just ordered extra because, right? Why wouldn't you want a couple extra feet? You know, you're already ordering 20 feet of it. You might as well order another 5 feet of it. So, and that the LF audio voltmeter, man, that's nice. We already wired it up. I did all the wiring for it, but I have to fiddle fuck with the dash a little bit. So before I put it in permanently, I wanted to wire up and just see kind of how it performed. And day one, beautiful. I did lose. There's this little beauty piece that goes right here that makes it to where the wires don't touch each other. It just kind of separates it a little bit better. But I put some heat shrink and kind of made it to where just a little tip of the wire comes out and it, enough signal to actually kick it on. So excited to have that one. I like the old one, but this one is very, very accurate. Already getting dark. Man, it's coming together really good. Today, we unfortunately found some really, really bad news. We opened up the oil and looks like iced coffee. Oh, goddamn, it looks like iced coffee. It don't look good, bro. It don't look good. So that just got jumped up to the top of the to-do list of make sure the motor doesn't fuck itself up. God damn it. So yeah, it looks like there's spark plugs, oil change, some other things on the docket to avoid having to do a new head gasket, but that's probably what it's going to be. So we'll see what the spark plugs and the oil change do, and I guess we'll just go from there. But anyway, still coming together. It's still my baby, bro. It's still the Cocaine Land Yacht. There's the amp rack, getting a little bit of the trim, making sure all they got room for speaker wires, remote wires, speaker wires, things like that. And then, well, we'll give you an update on that one. We keep on running wires. We changed the little anchor block right there. That's what the amp rack screws into, just to give us a little bit more room to run the wires. And you know, we put all the components on the amp rack, and I used a silver Sharpie to mark out where they're going to be. And so that gives us a little bit of heads up whenever it's out of the actual truck itself. And so Mike is just cleaning up the spot that'll go to the RCAs. And I've had some opinions on, I mentioned a little bit earlier, not but a few minutes ago, about the motor stuff. I'll put up a picture right here. And that is the motor oil currently sitting. It looks like a Frappuccino. Oh, bro. And so, yeah, luckily my brother's a mechanic. So he came over, took a look at it. I have another friend who's also a mechanic. And so between them two, they gave me a real good heads up. Then Butters, of course. Butters was the one who found the problem in the first place. But it's going to need a new head gasket and possibly more than that. So that really does put a damper in the Suburban build in general, because we thought we'd have it done very, very soon, within the next 48 hours in real time, the next few minutes in your time. But doesn't look like that, because can't drive it. Can't drive it, and I'm not going to turnkey slap the crap out of it for more than one little small burp here in my own driveway. That is shitting where you eat, and we don't shit where we eat, okay? So, yeah. Some of you may have seen that already on Instagram and Facebook. Damn, yeah. Full motor sesh. Ain't got nothing to do with this damn system. But yeah, that's what's in between now of actually enjoying it and not enjoying it. So we're not enjoying it. And I just use a little bit of truck bed undercoating spray on top of the Spectrum just to give it a fresh black. See how lazy my ass did it? I should have Look, I even got the fucking overspray on the double B logo. God damn it. But yeah, so the amp rack, you know, it's got that Spectrum to help with vibrations, but just wanted to, you know, be black again. Yeah, I needed it to be black again. Shout out Erica Kirk-Strusky. And just let that dry out here in the sun a little bit. It's got a lot of pollen coming from the trees right now. So you see my truck's covered in pollen. And it's off and on raining today. So we've had to game on. Come back into game on. You know, Wayne's World. Shout out Wayne's World.
So here we go. We're gonna grab the RCA 110. This is awesome. I ran it in my truck for a while, and so it's time to swap out this fuse block just to give us a little bit more. Oh gosh, just to give us a little bit more performance when it comes to the RCA voltage and splitting it. But the Illa Sound splitter box, it ran so good in here. It's just time to upgrade to a newer piece of technology. I really like those boxes. I hate to have to take them out, but efficiency, I guess, is the name of the game. The Easy RCA 110 will go in right here, and then this one will send the RCA signal just to the subs, just to the sub amps. That's it, just to the sub amps. So the Illa Sound box is now out, and the RCA 110 is in. Yeah, it's not too bad. It should all work. In theory, I got the wires there. We'll plug that into a power and ground source, but the RCA 110 and splitter box swap is complete. Now we can put this back in the stash and use it if we need it down the line. So now comes the time where we're gonna add the speakers back. We've talked about those a few times, giving the amp rack a little bit of time to keep drying with the paint that I added. Let's go see what we got. So this is all of the speakers that were in there before, and I have the slots thumb cover, the double B thumb covers, and the 6.5, and then these are DD shallow mount 6.5s. Forget what model number they are, like the VO something. They're an older model. I'm not even sure if they still make them anymore, but while I had them, they were awesome. I got them from customspeakerpods.com. As soon as they became DD dealers, I was like, oh shit. So I got some of their, at the time, the newest DD speakers that had just come out. So these fit the back doors really well because of the depth, and they really are nice speakers. The DD speakers got to get a thumbs up from me. Not the loudest speakers I've ever had, but they sound amazing, crystal clear. So, you know, they're not as loud as, say, a Def Bonds Apocalypse, but still excellent speakers. So there's the back doors. They're not all the way in. I just got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Butters to get in that side. Got them already. You know, it takes me long because I got to record the damn shit. And then this one right here, we'll put that there, and we'll knock out the other 4. And that'll give us all we need right there. Hell yeah, bro. And there it is. Back doors are like it still was in 2023. I love it. Both doors, both back doors. Now let's get on the front doors. Man, you guys saw how we opened the spool earlier in this video, and look, it's already not empty, but it's already been ran through. We've been using this for a lot of things. Bourbon rewiring. Even Butters is over there doing his doors right now, all using the good stuff. And so, but we still got plenty. I should be able to do a whole nother system with this if I really wanted to. Speaker wire at least. Good stuff. It has been really good through the install. Just like all the other Superflex, it meets the same standards. So if you need any of the wire or any of the amplifiers, speakers, subwoofer boxes, DSPs, I could go on and on. Just head on over to downforsoundshop.com, use coupon code Bangin Bros at checkout, and they will get what you need out to you as soon as possible. That is the Down for Sound difference. Shout out JP, my boy, man, taking care of that youngin' over at the Dick's Sporting Goods in Florida. Come on. That was pretty good. Leave a like in this video. Actually, leave the little fish emoji in this video if you know what I'm talking about. Now it is front door time. These are the 8-inch speakers from DD, but these are Neo shallow mount. Man, these things are so lightweight. When you first pick them up, you're like, man, there ain't nothing to it. Man, I have on all the speakers, the ones in the back doors, all these, I have doubled their RMS recommended power. And guess what they just did? Eat. This is the, what is it? The VOMN8, the Neo. Yeah, 60 watts RMS. I looked at it more like this thing has 150 watts RMS. And I have given them some sauce. They've never been installed where there was only 60 watts RMS. And I beat them up for years. We're about to do the same exact thing. So these DD speakers, the ones that we are installing here, they all get a pass from me because I have beat them. I beat the brakes off of these things and they still sound amazing. Well, I guess we'll find out what they sound like, you know, in a minute, but they sounded awesome. Very good. DD gets a thumbs up from those. Also, got them from Custom Speaker Pods whenever they became dealers of DD. Very good stuff. So we're here putting in the 8s in the front doors. And man, I just want to talk about this for a second. Man, I'm not the biggest fan of spade connectors. Now I know. Oh God, what the hell does that mean? I don't know. These are just temporary anyway. But I'm the type of guy that would take the convenience of the push terminals over spade connectors. Now there are people that like to they like to solder connectors on. So you know, soldering onto a push connect, that just defeats it. But if you were soldering, so if you're a solder guy, I mean, hey, not bad. I mean, do you, boo boo? But for me, push terminals. Oh yeah. It's about to rain, so I'm trying to get as much done as I can before the rain hits. Butter's got my impact, so we're just going old school with a screwdriver. Oh shit. Wrong thump. Wrong thump. We got a style to uphold, bro. Double B's go on the front. Hexagon go in the back. Man, I'm kind of bummed out about the motor having to have to do the head gasket. That's not that's not like swapping out the air intake or something. That is very invasive. It's one of those that some people, that might be the nail in the coffin for some vehicles. And I bought this Bourbon for $2,000. I've just put in a lot. So that's where you just don't let your investment go. And I'm using my pan head sheet metal screws here. That's what we use in all the CSP installs. One down. Let's do the other one. It is starting to rain and my glasses are getting hit up, so we're gonna cut this little scene. Guess who went across the street while it was raining? Me and Butters are soaked. My back of my shirt, I can wring it out. Oh man, good thing I had my cowboy hat. Yee doggy. That's why I keep it, man. I know y'all see it in a lot of the videos, but yeah, I used to sell, shape, and repair people's cowboy hats at one of my first jobs. I worked at a Western store, and I quickly became the manager of all the hats because I liked hats and I thought it was kind of fun. And then I learned how to shape hats. I used to have people come from hours away just to come see Anthony to come shape the hat. And I don't know, it was great. I used to get tips and stuff. I met a lot of nice people there, a lot of wild ones. There was some of these Hispanic brothers that like to hang out at the rodeo, and them guys had the longest pinky nails I ever seen. If you know, you know. But I also met a lot of nice people that would, you know, show cattle at the rodeo or show pigs or show whatever. And so, you know, part of the allure of showing animals at the rodeo is you got to be decked out right. Your hat's got to be perfect. Your clothes got to be starched up perfect. So I would help people, you know, if they were, oh, my son's doing this for whatever this. Can you get him a hat that really makes him stand out? Yes, I can. And it was a really, really fun job. Really, really fun job. And at that job, I had the best boss ever. That boss, of course, he was strict. I'm not saying he was great because he let me do whatever I want, because he didn't. But he taught me so much about business and so much about teaching people, selling to people by teaching them about the products so that they are informed and they are happy with their purchase. You know, we don't want a return. I want you to choose whatever product that you want. And even if it's cheaper, it's not about making money. It's about making the customer happy with the products that we sell because we believe in the products that we sell. That was the goal of it. So through him, and I had a couple other managers also at that store. Amazing, bro. Amazing, bro. It's those early bricks that built the foundation of who I am today. So don't ever just piss on your very first job. If you have great leadership there And, you know, it might not be your forever job, but there are things that you can learn and capitalize off of, you know, as your career and whatever you do goes on. But later I had jobs where the bosses were very selfish, we won't go into it. It's just what I had to deal with. And so I really always think about my first boss, and I'm like, man, if all bosses were like him, world would be a better place. Well, it is what it is. Having a good time. Butters also wired up some front door speakers for his ride, and he needed some extra wire, so I had that extra spool. So I gave him some runs so he could hook up his 4-channel to the two front door speakers. Got all these chairs, and it's just audio crap tools and stuff. We're really in install mode. Whatever is convenient for installing, but the rain was it was not very convenient. I don't know. We'll see. Wonder what we'll get into next. So there we go. So here is the amp rack. We done pulled it out of the truck, and we are going to install as many things as we can on the amp rack, and then we'll pick it up and move it and slide it up into the Bourbon. So all the things are here. I was just finding all the right little hardware, and then we'll do some zip ties to hold the wire in, just to make it look cool, make it look nice, and keep the wire secure and stuff. But that's what's going to be the final layout. And then we left a little bit of space here because this amplifier is Chinese. We thought it was going to be the Korean one. So that makes the amplifier, we got to push it a little bit more just in case this thing starts to run hot. Just trying to think ahead of the game in case I got to put one of those fans, just like I do in my truck, to keep the 234 cool. So let's see what it looks like here in a minute. So we're running the wire down here, and I was going to do a little bit of, you know, yeah, how you see those really cool amp racks that JP's Audios does, and we're going to do some zip ties over and over just to keep the wire looking really sharp, and then the ground wire, whoop, swing in there, and then we'll start doubling up on those to bring this up to the MM 100x4. That'll be really cool. And see, so I know we're mid-progress, but that's what it'll actually look like. Keep the wire straight, and then Micah's doing this top one over here for the single 4. We'll also do it right here for the 0 gauge, just to keep it secure to the amp rack and then up to the amp. And as you guessed it, that's what it looks like on the back, just the zip ties. And on the front side, like that. So check it out, man. The 284, the DSP, the MM 100x4, the SMD distro, and the SMD fuse slot, fuse holder. That looks dope, dude. We just finished up this bit, and then the ground wire will kind of snake actually over here and then go up underneath and go there. So maybe we should do some, we'll talk about it here in a minute. And then the RCAs will go underneath. This will be really, really tight. Way cooler than what it was before. We went on ahead and ran that ground wire, and then once we put it in, then this will go back behind the seat, pop up there, and hit the distro right there. So we'll have ground, and probably this one will come in on this one, and then 2 0 gauges will come from the back battery bank right there to ground all the rest of that. And then this one will also have 2 0 gauge powers from the battery bank to power those. So that's pretty good. And we still have room in case have to add a fan there for the 284, but we're just gonna play that one by ear, see how it runs, see how cool it is. If not, I mean, I'm already expecting to have to get a fan. You know, Micah's 234. I mean, he's only told me one time since we've installed it that it has been lukewarm. Otherwise, it stays really cool and just jams out right, and that's why we like it. So that's it, man. That's actually really cool. I'm really happy with how that turned out. So we got the amp rack in. It fits perfect. It looks very good, man. We got the remote wires coming off, remote wires there, all the wires that go to tweeters and horns, all the wires that go to the door speakers. We already hooked up the RCAs. Might do some zip tie in there just to kind of make it nice and pretty. The ground, and they're already hooked up. Oh, shit, I got to hook those up too. So, yeah, really nice the way it fits, the way it looks. So much better. Everything's so secure, and then when the seat closes, no problem whatsoever. You still get a little bit of airflow. This is so much better than a long time ago whenever I first built this amp rack. I really wish I could go back in time and tell, hey bro, do it like this, man. So right now we're getting all the wires that go to the DSP, power, ground, remote in, remote outs, all running them. The remote for the 284, the remote for the MM, and then we'll have that remote signal it is kind of, what is it, piggybacked off of the DSP. I do like that. The DSP comes in handy for that. Splits up your RCA, splits up your remotes. gives you a sequencer and then extra control over your RCAs. And then that remote wire can run to the RCA 110, and then it gets split. It gets split again, or not split again, remote in, remote out, and then that goes to the sub amps.
Well, my Suburban's in pretty bad shape right now. Past few days, some things happened, and it's put me in a worse position than really what I was to begin with. I hired a mechanic to come work on my Suburban, and a 2-day job turned into a 6-day, 7-day, 8-day circus. So the problem with Suburban was the intake gasket failed and brought coolant into the motor and mixed in with the motor oil. That is really what happened. But I hired a mechanic to come and diagnose the problem and fix the problem. And we had thought it was the head gasket. So the head gasket, that ended up being okay, but they tore the motor down anyway to rebuild from the ground up. You know, while you're there, this is my baby. This is my investment. This is something that I've been building for half a decade, and I would like to continue. I did want to continue doing this for as long as I could. So here's where the problems started. So I hired this mechanic that was from a reference that I should never have trusted the reference. You know, Butters is pure part of the group, and he is one of the bros. And he had a friend named Phil that was a mechanic. And, you know, I'm really in this position where I would like to get everything back up and going. I mean, you've watched this video so far. You've seen how long and how much we've been working on this. And this was a major roadblock. So I was kind of on that, man, I need to find somebody that can fix this swiftly so that we can continue where we're going. And I ended up talking to a couple of mechanics, and the ones that I really wanted to go with, they weren't available for quite a while. So, and other ones just stopped responding and stopped talking. So I wasn't able to get a hold of the mechanics that I wanted. I had to resort to the mechanic that was available. And now there's where my mistakes lie in the whole story of the thing. Now, I don't blame Corey for what happened. I blame myself for allowing myself to get in the desperate situation where I was picking the easiest route, the quickest route, because I was told that they were qualified enough for the job. So what had happened was on Saturday, they were supposed to start, and I should have known right then and there. The mechanic shows up 4 hours late and leaves in the middle of the afternoon to go do whatever he wanted to do. And that left the hands that were actually working on it kind of high and dry. So the way it went was Philip is the mechanic. Philip, 38-year-old mechanic, he had a mechanic hand. His name was Donald, DJ. Great kid, very driven. He didn't fail whatsoever. Then you have Butters, and that's Corey, and he wanted to learn. And I wanted Corey to learn. I wanted Corey to know this motor better than I knew the motor, because I want to keep him around part of the group. And, you know, why not have someone who really knows the motor inside and out in the group, right? And I know that every good businessman needs to delegate tasks. And so I delegated the task to Butters. Hey, man, if you want to go out there and learn, be out there and make sure none of the tools are stolen. I'll be watching on the cameras, and I'll be right here in my office whenever you need me. I'll come out. And I did come out. Over and over and over again. Hell, I did a lot more work than I was expecting to do. So day one on Saturday, he shows up late, argues with Corey. They're having some sort of fit, and they're fighting each other, and it's just drama the whole time. And so that's what slowed progress on Saturday. Sunday, nothing got any better. the mechanic still shows up hours and hours late and leaves. He leaves in the middle of the afternoon without telling us nothing because he overbooked and has another client that he has to go check out hours away. Okay, well, DJ Donald, he stayed here the entire time and he tried his best and he was very honest with me. He said, man, I'm here to work. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I've never done exactly what we're doing here, but I'm here to learn. I'm here to work and I won't give up. And that's really all I can ask for when it comes to Donald. So I was not upset because he was just doing what he was supposed to do and trying to learn and trying to figure it out. Well, this job went from Saturday to Sunday to Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday was the last day the mechanic. I paid him off and I was done with it. But this guy wanted to just leave the bourbon the way it is and get his money. And the thing hadn't even started. It didn't even start until Wednesday. And he wanted his money on Sunday. He even came to me and asked for an advance. So I didn't get all worked up. I didn't get angry like I really should have, with the lack of care. I was trying to stay calm to make sure the job got done. That was it. Look, if you're going to start this thing, no matter what kind of bullshit that we have to go through, whatever. Sunday evening, we find out that he had been posting on Snapchat that the mechanic himself was out drinking. So there was videos of him getting hammered on his lunch break, and then him leaving for hours and hours. It was something else. So what we were dealing with was the head mechanic was drinking. Fuck. Even on Sunday, he pulls up to my house out of gas. So then Corey comes in there. Hey, man, do you have any container that we can fill up so I can go get some gas to bring back here so the mechanic can put some gas in his tank and go get some gas and come back so we can actually leave at a reasonable time? Right. Every day that they worked on this, they stayed here until as late as 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. They were working on this at my house. Now, my house is pretty open and pretty free. I do have it like that. So I'm not so worried about bedtimes. But my better half has to go to work on Monday, and she needs to go to bed at a good time where there doesn't need to be noise and all this stuff. She didn't ask for this. Hell, I didn't ask for it for a 2-day job turn into a fucking 5-day, 6-day. I'm still working on it. So it ain't like it's been resolved. I'm just working on it right now. Now it gets even worse than that. When it comes to putting the motor back, as you saw, it does idle. The timing is completely backwards. It's nowhere near where it needs to be. But the mechanic damaged the Suburban even further than what the repair was. So my driver's side exhaust snapped a bolt right off, and now I have an exhaust leak that it's on my dime to fix. So this job cost me that much extra. Not only that, but putting the motor together, there is a handful of bolts left over. A handful of bolts left over that we don't even know where they go to, if they're missing where they need to be or what. So I don't know. 75% of the time it was Donald, who's 20 years old, Butters, who is 18 years old, doing as much as they can with YouTube videos. Philip was out drinking, sending them YouTube videos to look at. He was out working on other customer stuff because he double booked other customers, sending YouTube videos for the two boys to use as guides when he was supposed to be the person guiding the entire thing. On top of all that, my driver's side fender isn't just scratched. The paint has been chipped off in multiple locations, up front and on the side, as well as huge, it looks like denim burn marks or clothing burn marks up against the paint. You see, you got it rubbing. On both fenders, that's not, you can't buff that out. That is a entire repaint of the fenders. And now that also lies on my to-do list of what I have to do to get this thing back up and going. When the mechanic came to my house, he pulled up, slammed his brakes. When he left my house, he peeled out every single stop sign, every chance he got. It's one of those male insecurity things that they want to look like, whatever. And so there's ruts across the street. There's burn marks in the fucking street from pulling off and acting so unprofessional. It's like I didn't see one professional thing, because even when the mechanic was here, he did spend half of his time sitting in the chair playing on his phone while Corey and DJ worked on the actual motor. Other things that really didn't help out the situation was that Corey and the mechanic, they really didn't get along very well. I was under the impression that they were closer friends and that they would work together a little bit better, kind of like me and Micah. We work together like two peas in a pod. But Philip and Corey, I thought they were friends, but there was just so much headbutting going on. And, you know, I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of it was Corey, Butters, a lot of it was Butters arguing some sort of point. And so there were multiple times over this past dilemma that I had to pull him aside and talk to him about just letting things go. You don't have to argue. You don't have to be right. These are things that don't really help the situation in the long run. Interrupting, trying to do this, talking about something that has nothing to do with everything. You're distracting more than being of help. And so if you want to learn, you need to close your mouth, open your ears, and learn as much as you can while you can, because obviously we see that the mechanic is nowhere near competent for the job that we have here. And I mean, I know you don't want to learn. I know you want to argue and stuff because this or that, but we called him in as a specialist. And when you call someone in as a specialist, you got to back up and just kind of let them do their thing. You know, now I know Corey was also trying to argue because he didn't trust in the mechanic as well. After the mechanic showed his workflow of showing up super, super late and disrespecting things, Corey, I guess, was in the right a lot of times, you know, questioning certain things. So I didn't really get on to Butters about that. I really didn't get, you know, mad at him over it. But those were things that really didn't help. Along with that, my dog that's here doesn't like a whole bunch of racket and a whole bunch of noise. He's a coddled, spoiled inside dog. And that dog was so stressed out or so misworked or whatever it was that he had multiple accidents inside the house. And so guess who's got to deal with refereeing out here, refereeing in there with accidents all over the fucking house? It was a cluster. I had to clean up messes all over this place. And I mean, day 7 here, I'm still cleaning up the mess. I just got done vacuuming and I'll have to mop the floors and all this other stuff just because so much dirt was tracked in going back and forth. It was just insane. I know that pointing the finger of blame really doesn't help a situation while you're still in the situation. So I really was just trying to referee the things and just get it done. And one thing about Butters, though, I'm going to give him this. He was very determined and he showed up before everybody else every single day. Great work ethic and great drive to keep going. And seeing those things was why I have not given up on Butters himself. He shows persistence and he shows determination and he has a willingness to learn. We just need to learn. We just need to learn the proper way of learning. And that's kind of what the point we're in right now. Now, I know that the money that I paid Philip for the work, he split it off and gave DJ some money and supposedly gave Butters some money, but he was never around for the boys when they needed him. And so that left me having to come out here, check on the boys, try to get them to, you know, get going. I don't know what I'm doing. That is why I hired somebody who's supposed to know what they're doing. And I made that huge mistake. And now what it's going to cost me is having to repaint my fenders. I'm going to have to get the exhaust fixed. And on top of all that is I don't trust this work at all. This is not roadworthy. I wouldn't trust putting someone that I love, someone that I care about in the passenger seat so that we can just cruise around the block. Otherwise something happens. You know, they also put one of my ground wires on the alternator's positive, and when I went back to put my excess power super cap bank in there, grounded the positive, and it almost welded the battery terminal to the battery itself. So I don't even know right now if that thing, I'm going to have to check on it and make sure that the cap is okay. I had to resort to a backup battery, just throw it in under the hood just to get them out of here. My double apex alternators had to be taken off multiple times, 4 or 5 times, in and out, in and out, in and out. Batteries having to go in and out, in and out, in and out. So I'm very frustrated and very upset because right now my motor, which I came and looked at it whenever it was being tore down, the motor's in fantastic shape. 160,000 miles on this motor. It's in pristine condition. It's really, really nice. Was really, really nice. And oh my goodness. The mechanic also, I bought a new water pump for the Suburban, and the mechanic dropped the water pump, and the boys are tripping out because that's a brand new $100-something water pump that the mechanic was careless with. You know, it could be the drinking. You know, I've been building this bourbon and I love it. This is my toy. This is my thing. This is my favorite sound system. And now I'm at a position where, do I need a whole new motor? I have to pay another mechanic to come out here and give this thing a look over and see where these extra bolts went to. I have to pay a paint man to paint these 2 fenders. You know what I'm saying? I got to pay the exhaust man to fix the broken stuff that Philip left. And I don't blame anybody but myself, because I put my baby's hands, I put my possessions in the hands of incompetence, an entire group of incompetents that shouldn't have been able to even open the hood of this ride at all. But this thing is something I put in thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, thousands of hours, thousands of effort, blood, sweat, tears, everything into this thing in the last 6-7 years, just for it to get treated like a piece of shit and then be left like a piece of shit. I'm embarrassed because this happened to me, and I am somebody who does use patience and judgment to go the right way, and I went the wrong way. So I feel ashamed and embarrassed of everything on something that I care so much about. But anyway, that was the story, and I know I left some stuff out, but you know, learn from my mistakes. So right now, me and Mike are hooking up the power wires to the Bravo 8Ks and running the power and ground that go to the amp rack underneath. Butters is up there flushing out the radiator from the damage control from the mechanic situation. But the sound system is still coming along great. Oh no. Oh.
So now all the batteries and all the amplifiers and everything is hooked up. And the only thing left now is to tune. Even all the door speakers are all hooked up. Tweeters, horns, everything is all hooked back up. And in theory, should click on and play without an issue. We're just not starting the Suburban and letting it idle right now because we're doing other things. But that's a nice milestone. So this is the motor oil that we pulled out of my Suburban. As you can see, it does not look like motor oil. A little bit closer to the Frappuccinos. This would be the failure that happened in the coolant and the motor oil mixed together and churned into this chocolate milk. So that means the good old O'Reillys had to get scalped by your boy to get radiator flush, motor flush, some new brake fluid, a couple extra jugs of motor oil, full synthetic, and a couple of oil filters. That's fantastic. As I said before, I'm incredibly lucky to have wonderful friends around me that know more about motors than I do. So one of my bros is going to come over throughout this next few days and help me flush out all the gunk and all the nasty out of that thing, because the system at this point is about 90% done, 95% if you're, depending on how you're judging the completion. But you know, you can't do a dang thing without the motor actually being able to take you around the block so that you can actually play the music and, you know, consistently turn the alternators without bigger problems. So that's kind of what point we're at now, getting held up by what's under the hood. So diving deeper into what was going wrong with the Suburban, I have my bro Aiden out here. He knows his GM motors like the back of his hand, and he took one look at my old radiator and said, that thing's gotta go, bro. So we ran to O'Reilly's real quick, grabbed a fresh one, and now it has a fresh radiator. So there's a thumbs up for that. You know, something I ain't gotta worry about later down the line. And right now we're letting the coolant do a little flush. We got some flush here, motor flush and coolant flush, and letting it just kind of do its thing, and we'll see how it works out. So as you can see, the Suburban does idle and it does drive around the block. Thank God it can do that. And we're still in the flush phase of flushing out any of the gunk from the motor. But yeah, take it around the block, let it get up to temperature, let it circulate that motor flush so that we can drain it all out and start fresh. And I want to give a huge shout out to my bro Aiden. He came over and he took a look at all that shoddy mechanic work, and he was able to kind of help me make heads or tails of what situation that I was in. So I couldn't do it without my bro Aiden. Big thank you to you, bro. Thank you. Now let's go see what the temp's at. So there we have it. We have the idle, and it's sitting at a comfortable temperature right now. It's got low oil pressure because of the thin motor oil, but other than that, a little bit more work to go on it, and it'll be ready to ride down the block, bro. And then we can listen to some music.
Well, I have an update on the motor. So I had my friend Aiden that you saw just now and my brother Cameron come over, pop the hood, and give this thing a deep dive in kind of all the mechanic work that had been done before by the shady mechanic. And first, I want to say thank you both to Cameron and Aiden for coming over here and looking through things a little bit more. But they found even more damage that was left over from the mechanic. And we traced it back to, if it wasn't for the mechanics doing what they did, then the motor, the repairs would have been so minimal and so easy. So now I'm looking at even more repairs on this motor just to get it up and going. So I had to look at myself, and I had to look at, you know, as far as we've gotten, and it's just episode 2, and as far as we've gotten, how much money I have been throwing at this thing just for this one project. I mean, this got to be the highest produced YouTube video series that I've ever done. I mean, I'm thousands deep with the motor work, paying the shitty mechanic, the labor, all the parts that I've had to put in this thing, the new radiator, the lithium batteries, the new amplifiers, DSPs, and I'm still using so much of my previous equipment. So, God, man, so I'm kind of at a roadblock now, and I'm like, man, do I put in even more, thousands more under the hood just to get this thing up on top of all the other stuff? I got to get the paint fixed, still got to get the exhaust fixed and crap. I mean, all that stuff calculates up, man. I'm no millionaire. So I didn't really want to have to do this, but there are some references that I have that want to buy the Suburban. Bumper to bumper. They're going to pay me for the whole thing. I got 2 bidders right now that have been watching the content for half a decade. Look at there, man. And they're willing to offer me pretty fair for the whole thing. The bourbon, the system, the name, Cocaine Land Yacht, the whole thing. You know, hey, one of them even wants to pay me a little extra, give him a shout out on the way out, you know. But so now I'm at this thing. Do I take the money and run? I built a higher value for this thing than what it was originally? Or do I throw even more into it to get it back to the we can continue? I just don't know, man. I just don't know. You know, I want to thank Cameron and Aiden for giving me the insight on the reality of the situation, but I'm just unsure right now. And it would make me very sad to see this thing pulled off for one last time. But I'm frustrated. I've had it up to here twice, 3 times over. And I'm not so hung up on saying goodbye. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll just find out. So check out what we have here. So we have, you know, I showed y'all in the episode 1 of the LAF bass knob. Well, LAF makes 3D printed holsters for your knob. How cool is that? So we're going to put this one up there in the front seat, and so we can hold the knob. See now where to put it. I mean, that's where I normally have my other knobs, so I don't know if I want to put it up on the dash, because then the wires will be coming across unless we route them. But I like them here, kind of like a gun holster. So I think we'll set it. Yeah, I think we'll set it somewhere around there. That's where you see the graveyard of other knobs that I've had. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but that's just the way it is. It's just a comfortable spot. Couple on this side too. Oh, brother. So it has found its home right there. Perfect spot. Perfect spot. I didn't have a 4th piece of hardware. I looked for a matching one, but you won't see it. The knob will right there. Nice. Cool, cool, cool. Well, we found another roadblock under the hood. Can you guess where it is? Let's see here. Oh, dude, another problem. We found yet another problem, man. And this one ties back to the mechanics from episode 2. So shit, man. So, okay. So on top of all that mechanic stuff that I had to deal with, the mechanics had to obviously take off my alternator so that they could get to the motor. Well, I was there to pull the alternators off, all the audio portions of it, like the battery and the alternator. I made sure to be there to watch that install and uninstall to make sure everything went safely. Well, on the very last install from the shady mechanic, damn it, they put a ground wire on one of the alternator's positive lugs along with the alternator's positive lug. So damn it, the alternator saw ground and positive, and then an SB1000 super capacitor, ultra capacitor, touched down on that thing. You know, those things put out a lot of burst power in a short period of time. And I was right there when it happened. The battery terminal it was this close from welding to the battery itself. Damn it, man. I tried to look over all the wires. So anyway, long story short, the bad mechanics put the nail in the coffin on both of my Apex alternators 350 amp alts. Shit, dude. So me and Micah, we were, you know, I've been driving the Bourbon around for the motor stuff, but the voltmeter's been turned off. because I wasn't worried about that. I wasn't worried about voltage. We got that, right? And I had the excess power batteries under the hood, and with the alternators not even being able to charge above 14 volts, the batteries were able to help my Bourbon limp, while we were fixing the bad mechanics work. Well, this is the final thing that really did bite us in the ass, and now both of my Apex 350s are toast. We touched the multimeter to both of their positive posts and their negative on the case while they were turning, and now they have a set point of 14.8. These were barely charging at 14 volts. One of them was at 13.8, 13.8.5, and the other one was at 14, 14.1, 14.2 if we were lucky. So you obviously know they're not charging the way they're supposed to be charging because they were built to charge 14.8. Damn it. Now, what really sucks is one of those Apex alternators I had under the hood since like, it had to be almost 7 years, 6-7 years. So 6-7 years. The other one has been riding around for, I think, 4 years. So one of them is easily 6 years. The other one is 4 years. They lasted me a long time. That original one that lasted me 6-7 years, that thing has been there forever, man. It is beat up just from regular usage. But what I want to say is those Apex alternators have been a benchmark, a key feature of my truck's electrical over the years using the AGM. If I didn't have the Apex, both the 350s, then when I had AGM in this Suburban, man, it wouldn't have done that good. But it's having that ultra powerful 700 plus amps of charging is what helped me, be able to bang with having a smaller AGM reserve. So, they did put in their work, but yeah. So me and Mike are going to pull the alternators out. We pulled them out, and now we're going to box them up and ship them out to Apex alternators so that they can rebuild the alternators from scratch, get them back to charging what they're supposed to be charging. So I'll have 2 fresh 350 amp alternators. Might change up the colorway a little bit, but really I needed my reliability back. And I mean, I was talking about the motor having problems too. The motor's only job is to turn the alternators. The alternator's job is to keep my system topped off. Now the motor does turn the alternators, but it's still running pretty rough. So got to fix that. But either way, the motor's got to turn the alts, and the alts don't do nothing. So damn it. So I've already talked to Nick at Apex Alternators, and so we have a battle plan going forward and to get them all done up and rebuilt and everything and back to where they're supposed to be. Damn it, man. So later in this video, we'll see the newer alternators, but for now, golly, man, jeez, that just sucks so bad. So we're going to package them up, and then I'll ship them out to Nick, and he can do his magic, do his work, and we'll see what happens. It was the mechanics. Damn it. All right, I'm coming. All right. The new alts have delivered from Apex Alternators. So you guys know in that last segment, we uninstalled the original 350s that were in there. We boxed them up, and I shipped them out to Apex so that he could rebuild them so I could have 2 fresh 350s, 2 fresh alternators, and let's just see what we got inside. So ooh, look at these we got some new stickers. Oh, dude, check out these new Apex stickers. Fire alert. What we got here? We got our paperwork from Apex. Ooh, well, look at the peak output on that one. 424. Oh, brother. 14.8 set point, just like the originals. Oh, my goodness. Jeez, brother. Woo! Damn. Look at this beautiful. Now this definitely is not the same alternator from earlier. This is a completely different case. This is Apex Alternator's billet case, custom made for them. And then I asked him to powder coat everything white so it matches the bourbon. It looks really sharp. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Bangin Bros and Apex Alternators. That's one hell of a combo, bro. So what I actually ordered was the Apex Alternators 410 billet. That's their top of the line. The best you can order from them, at least as far as I know. Wow, look how beautiful this is. Look how thick that case. Oh, dude, the mounting spots for it and that ground tab. What a thick, thick monster. I wish I would have had my one of my old alternators to compare it side by side. But wow, I can put up a picture though. But wow, look at this. Beautiful. Look at this big old thick beefy power post. That's what I love to see. Look at that thick, thick daddy. It looks to be a copper bolt too. Shoot, can't get no better than that. Unless it was gold maybe. So now we have both of the 410 amp alternators unboxed. Each of them does over 420. This one, the one we just unboxed, is 422. The first one did 424. So we're going to be looking at 840 amps under the hood. Now, another little surprise. I had one of my local powder coat guys powder coat my alternator bracket to match the white that was the white on the alternators. So this will just be one big old monster icy white unit. Man, that's gonna look dope as hell, bro. Super excited. Right now, the weather is really bad, so we had to close the garage door because it's just raining like crazy. But we wanted to unbox these things and get first looks on them, start building up the battle plan to install them. I also got some new grounding cables so that we can just do fresh grounds going from the alternator's case straight back to the lithiums in the back. So I can have me a strong ground from alternators to the rear. And so I just bit the bullet, bro. I ordered 30 feet of OFC Superflex 1/0 from Down for Sound. Hey, just a little side note. This stuff got here in like 3 days. It was crazy. I ordered it on a Friday night. It was at my door on like a Monday morning. Crazy. Use coupon code Bangin Bros. You get this stuff so fast, bro. It's almost like having Amazon Prime, man. I love it. Shout out to Down for Sound. So, man, I want to give another huge thank you to Nick over at Apex. If you need an alternator built for your sound system, whether it be a 250 amp or a 410 amp billet like this, Apex alternators can build it for you. Very quick service, excellent customer service, and the product speaks for itself. I mean, we've been using it for 10 years now. My very first alternator was in 2016 from Apex, and then I've just graduated to what we have today. Apex's website is apexhighoutputalternators.com, and right there you can get to anything that you need to get in contact with him. But I recommend the social media channels as well, so you can see the beautiful work that he does on a regular basis. Whew! So let's get these things all prepped up for install. Look at how cool this is. I've never had an alternator with a threaded grounding tab. And Micah was just going through my hardware and found two bolts that fit perfect. Well, that makes it nice and easy. Nice. Dude, that's tight. I've never had an alternator with a threaded grounding tab. That is just really, really cool. And then we'll knock the powder coat off of the tab so it has good conductivity with the grounds. So look, with that threaded bolt and putting a piece of hardware through, find you a nut. And now you have a ground post that fits 2 lugs. What the hell? So now you got a positive post and a negative post. That's tight. I like that. I like that. This is just the nut from here. It actually fit perfect. But me and Micah were just brainstorming. We're like, oh man, this would be really, really cool and super secure. It's all threaded up in there. Tight. Look, you could even fit 3. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. And I even have a longer bolt to where we could put 5 or 6, but this one's just perfect size. Nice. I only need 2, so 3 kind of overkill. So this just straight up sucks. I mean, you have a beautiful item, and now you gotta sand off the beautiful finish. But the way we figured it out, this will be on the back side of the tab, and so we won't see much of it. It's just for conductivity to the grounds. It's good powder coat though. Thick stuff. So now the back of the tabs have been sanded off to where they'll conduct the grounds that we need them to conduct. Sweet. My garage is also flooding right now, so that's got in the way. Roof's leaking back there. It's all towards the tools. Well, everything has dried up and we are, well, kind of, and we are moving on to the install phase. So we just ran to Home Depot. That's why I got the money bag out. Got all the extra lock washers. I got extra nuts. I even got extra nuts for the back here just to have them. I'd rather have them than not. If it's only a few dollars, screw it, brother. Got extra hardware. The hang up that we're at is that the install bolt here, it needs to be fully threaded. Whenever you put it in the alternator, the threaded part will thread in nice and tight. Although the alternator is not threaded on the inside, it's so tight. And that's okay. That's okay. Like none of this bothers me. But once it gets down to the unthreaded area, we have a roadblock. So that's what's slowing it down just a little bit. Right now we're doing a little bit of a test fit. Micah is, you see here, we got one of the alternators put on there just to kind of see what we're doing, we've been looking at pictures of the previous alternator install, and we went to Home Depot and we're able to find some of the stuff there, but we have been hopping around town and looking at different hardware stores. But it looks like that here in my town, all the hardware stores use the same hardware vendor, you know? So there's two options here, and that's find the threaded bolts or drill that out just a tad bit to give it some relief and to let that bolt drop in there. So luckily my uncle has a drill press, and so if we got to go that route, I'll hit up my uncle for that one. So I guess we'll see. But that's what we're working on today, and get as far as we can.
Change of plans. So I'm going to go over to my uncle's house and grab the drill press now and bring it over here so that we can use it right here in the garage. So we'll run over there and go do that. So I just stopped off at my uncle's house, and this is the Ryobi drill press. Oh man, this is really sweet. I couldn't remember what he had. We had talked about it at dinner the other night. My dad just retired from his job, and so we were at a retirement dinner, and I was showing him pictures of showing him pictures and my dad pictures of the new alternators. But I was showing him the roadblock, and so he was like, "Oh, I have a drill press. If you want to come view it," and I'm like, "Oh man!" So I was like, "Let me try to find the hardware first, and then if I can't find the right hardware, I'll just come drill it. It's no big deal." So I texted him today, and he didn't have it all set up because he works on a lot of different projects. So he was like, "Well, it's here at the garage. If you want to just pick it up, bring it back whenever." And I was like, "Well, shoot, all right." And it was raining today, so I kind of had to wait. It's a little flooded area right here. I kind of had to wait till the rain stopped. I don't want to disrespect tools. You don't even get it all wet. That shit starts rusting and stuff. So I don't want to get the tools wet. So anyway, so I'm headed back to my garage. We'll set it up and we'll drill those alternators out and get it all solved, broski. So we got everything here set up. The alternators, a little bit of a rigged up platform because the weight's offset, but everything's level. And now we are about to get to winding those holes.
One step before we even get to drilling anything, I wanted to use painter's tape to seal up all the open holes of the alternator, so and none of those shavings can get inside and cause any other damage. So now we got this thing all chucked up. It's time to line it up and get them popping. All right, well that thing did an excellent job. We got a bunch of shavings all over the place. Shout out WD-40, the older cousin to E40, the rapper. So they're all back. As you can see, we got it a little bit wider there, and now the bolts just fit right in. We got the impact. We made sure we found the right one to pop up on there so we can go ahead and start putting them on the burr. But that's great. Got all that painter's tape up on there. Now we can rip that off, and we didn't get any of the shavings inside. That's a good thing. Whew. All right, next phase. Hey, big shout out to my Uncle Patrick for hooking it up with with the drill bit, with the drill press. I'll bring that back real soon. So we're adding new hardware. Yesterday we were at Home Depot. I grabbed some new fresh M8. Oh, not those. That's not the one. That's the one I was showing you in the earlier clip that I just had laying around, but I didn't want to use the Phillips head one. I'd rather have the hex head just in case it were to get stuck or anything. That the hex head's a little bit easier to break out than if that thing were to get stripped out. Then, oh God, I'm drilling the whole thing out. So went with that one, got fresh bolts, washers, and little lock washers for the grounds, give them the best conductivity. This is all zinc plated as well, and zinc plated, it doesn't take away from conductivity. Zinc's a good thing. Also helps with the corrosion and stuff. So big winner, we won't have any issues with that in this install. So we're dipping and dodging the rain here, but everything's keep on flowing. So here is that down for sound wire. We don't have to just cut it straight in half. Now I got two 15-foot runs that I'm about to. I was grabbing my lugs. I was grabbing my, oh damn it. I just have the, oh, it's right here. What the heck? The heat shrink. I'll cut that in half. I'll have two nice thick ones. And yeah, awesome. We were test fitting one of the alts just to see where that ground wires will get tucked around and stuff like that to make sure, because we're putting two 0 gauge on each one. And we'll just lug it up. Where's my thingy at? Shout out. Let's do this thing. Come on. So we're running the grounds, but I was showing you a little step that we just did. Polishing the connections. These are the older lugs that we're still going to reuse. The older connections, but now polish that up. And that goes same thing for these positives here. Polished on both sides with the Dremel. Go ahead, Mike. There you go. So that just helps the connections just that much more. You know, I bet it's overkill, but you know, if you do that while something's unhooked, it takes 2 seconds, and now you got a nice shiny finish, very similar to a new lug. To go along with the extra conductivity, I know this is overkill, but I also, this is the back of the bracket. I cleaned off where the alternators will actually touch, like on the mounting spots, so that they can connect together their grounds, and that's all grounded, all in sync. And I know that's overkill because they're also connected under the hood too. When I say I understand that you don't have to do all this, I totally do. I'm just doing it because we're here, and it only takes 2 seconds. So then we'll have everything synced together. The alts will be grounded together, but then also with the engine, and then also each of them will go to the back battery bank. Each of them will have a frame ground. Each of them will be grounded to the batteries. That's what I'm talking about. All those little things, and give me the best possible chance at enjoying that 846 amps combined together. Woo! I love it. So this is the old bearing that's been serving me for, what is it, like 4 years now? And it still works, and there's no real issues. It just doesn't, it's just smooth, no problem. But I had a brand spanking new one. So I don't know, I had an extra one for whatever reason. So we got to put some spacers to make this work because the big cases are bigger than the small cases. So made a little thingy-mabobber, but now it's got a brand spanking new bearing on the pulley. And then when we put it in, it'll just turn smoother than what it was before. And I'll keep this one as a backup because there's nothing wrong with it. I just figured we go through all this trouble for an almost $2,000, well, it is a $2,000 alternator setup by itself, not even including the wire. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and put a new bearing while I'm here. So there we go. Whoops, too many spacers. And so 2 made it perfect. Look at that, man! It is a tight squeeze. Going from the large case to going from the small case to the large case, it is a little bit different, a little bit harder. I mean, it's probably the one level up harder to get this puzzle put together, but everything is where it needs to be. All the pulleys are lined up where they need to be, so the belt won't ride. And now we're just tightening up. And the trick with doing this is keep it loose so that you can maneuver everything. And then once you got it all into place, all the bolts where they need to be, then you tighten things up. And as long as the pulleys are lined up and you know your belt path, you're ready to ride, broski. So the alts look great. They're on there. We've run into another roadblock. This alternator distribution lug, whatever you want to call it, this worm nut right there had it's never worked. I ordered a double pack of these certified Basshead ones. That should tell you how old they are. And this one never worked. So these were, I ordered and paid for the 3-spot ones, but I was only ever able to use 2. So I bought a 2-pack and I went and tried to find the other one, and guess what? The other one seized too, the worm nuts. And now we are running the ground wires. See them 2 OFC 0 gauges going to the back. Each one goes to each alternator. Each alternator has one, and then they will go to each battery, and each battery will have one. Man, you know, simple alternator installs are pretty easy. You know, if you're just doing a stock alternator to just a new badass unit, a single alternator, swapping some wires, adding a big 3 or big 4, whatever you want to call it, that's pretty easy, man. That's pretty beginner level. The doubles, the triples, the quadruples, you know, it's all that extra wire that has to go to each alternator, you know, and making it all fit in an engine bay that it was only made for one alternator. So that's where it becomes a little tricky. You had to wire in an extra plug just to wake the alternator. Both of the alternators get both woken up. There's like a little remote that comes from your fuse block, a fuse box. So it's just a lot of extra things that a normal alternator might not come with if it's just a plug and play unit that plugs in, uses your normal computer to control it, and things like that. But, you know, you want what you want, you got to do a little extra digging and stuff. So that's no big deal. This alternator install I knew was going to be a big puzzle. So every single problem that we had to get through, just powered through it. Unlike the mechanic crap where that just kind of hit us like a freight train. I understand the alternator stuff. I don't even know how many alternators I've put in for audio purposes. Also, not just regular alternator swaps. You know what I'm saying? Like just for fixing blown alternator, but I do like doing alternator and battery stuff. So it is, I mean, yeah, it's work, but always fun in the end. So there it is. I know this shot doesn't look any different, but that's exactly what I wanted it to be. Just the wire swapped to now each battery has the front one of each one. It goes straight to the alternator, and then there's another one that goes to the frame ground. So I'm hoping that will also give me less feedback in my RCAs, having the same ground resistance on the alternator to the back batteries, and then all the amps here are grounded to the back batteries. All the amps are here to the back batteries, but that's wishful thinking. But hey, I used to have a lot of tweeter winding here a while back, so doing this whole rewire helps out that. And it already has been getting better. It already has getting better. So if this just makes it a little bit better, I'll be thrilled, bro. Very good. My boys worked really, really hard today. It was very, very hot. We're all dripping sweat right now, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Hell yeah, brother. So we're back here a few days later, and I was able to find one of these alternator 000 gauge thingies online. And so this should be the missing link to help us put all the 3 0 gauge wires on the one alternator post. This will help out. This will help out. You see the other one was, well, it's a little bit bulkier too. So that's nice. We'll just swap this one out, and then I can put that third wire on there. But man, that sucks, man. I hate buying something and not being able to use it. I guess I bought them a while back, and it is what it is. We can replace it. Man, that sucks. I just lugged this thing up too. I just recut it, so now we gotta cut it again. That sucks. So this lug never had a life. So I got that big old monster 000 thing all put on. Nice. Now we got them all tucked away. The super cap can sit right there, and Mike is pulling up the belt schematic so we can wrap the belts up. It's happening. It's happening. Oh, me and Micah got it all done up. Woo! Look at there, brother. Now we do have a D3400 in here. We wanted to put that up in here real quick, like just to test, because when you put the super cap in, we got to marry that. We were kind of impatient. Wanted to pop that in. Look at there, bro. 846 amps turning smooth as butter. I can't believe it's not butter. I love this. Oh, this is good, man. This is great. Shit. Love that. That looks so tough under the hood. I love that. Might as well be a damn turbo. Might as well be a damn Basshead turbo. So yeah, I mean, that alternator install had a few hiccups, but overall, it's a abnormal install. So what do you expect, bro? You know, super proud. Man, Micah did such a great job figuring out a bunch of crap. I did the best I could figuring out a bunch of crap. And then we were looking underneath at the amplifiers, and all the amplifiers underneath the middle seat, they all turn on great. The DSP clicks on great. I already tuned up the amplifiers, but then I go to take a look at the 8Ks, and the one in the middle is not turning on. Are you kidding me? It was just turning on 2 weeks ago. Oh, so something came undone. Jeez, man. When is it going to stop raining around here? My umbrella is worn out. But the new alternators are in the Bourbon, and the Bourbon is charging sharp, 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 right under 15 volts. I love that, man. Damn it. Now, look, I've thought about it a little bit more as far as, do I want to continue working on the Suburban or do I want to let it go? Look, what I can say right now is I haven't deleted those two guys' numbers out of my phone, but I am enjoying fixing this up. I did enjoy doing the alternator, so I guess there's no 100% darkness at the end of that tunnel. The money does look good though, and going into summertime, that's a slower time. So I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. But to be honest, bro, I really got to hear this thing. Shit. So before I can even say anything, I mean, damn. I mean, right? Wouldn't that be the logical thing to do? So there's Micah pulling away. All right, man. So we finished up the working this afternoon. We got everything as far as we could, but I mentioned before that there's some other motor things that need to be addressed. So I'm leaving the capacitor out of the engine bay because it's so big, it takes up so much space. So I mean, hell, so do the alternators. But I want those mechanics to, whenever they come over here, they're coming over here in the next few days. I want to make sure that whenever they come over, at least that's not an issue. We'll have to pull that anyway. So I mean, fuck. But next time Micah comes over, we are going to dig back into the audio stuff and continue on there. But I don't know if I still don't know if I want to hold on to this Bourbon or let it go. The other mechanics that are coming over, they're going to give me another rundown of the motor and how much more it's going to be to fix all of the other stuff. And then I got somebody who's going to give me a paint quote, and then I go get the exhaust manifold fix and all that stuff too. So, I know that fixing the alternators was also an expense going forward in that direction. I know that I couldn't sell this thing without having 2 turnkey alternators. I want this thing to be turnkey. I'm going to sell it turnkey. So that was part of it. The white alts are just so badass, bro. So another big shout out to Apex Alternators for building such awesome alternators. I mean, if I don't get to keep it, then the next person will be able to enjoy those for the next probably close to a decade. So that's what's awesome, man. So, hey, we are back in the saddle today. The Bourbon is back under the knife, and we are figuring out all the little things that need to be completed so that we can turn the sound system on and actually listen to it. So right now, with the new radiator that was put in the previous episode, the radiator lines are getting in the way of the Group 31 ultra capacitor up under the hood. So right now, Micah is trying to figure out some sort of relief under the hood so that battery can just put back or plop down in the battery tray like it did before. So let's go check on the progress of that. So having that big Group 31 size battery in the tray here, it barely clears, like it barely does. So when we put the new radiator in, this line right here sticks out too much, pushes the battery, and the hood doesn't close right. So that's what we're trying to get today. But man, look at them alternators. They're looking good, bro. They're looking good. To be honest, it's all of these little things like that, like the alternator line getting in the way, in between doing things that, we enjoy doing the amp rack, we enjoy doing the alternator install, we enjoy doing all these things. But then in between, there's always these little things that don't make it very enjoyable. And so that right there is what feeds the want or the to be okay to sell the whole thing. Because it's like every good thing is met with something that's like, God damn it, man, fuck, can we just enjoy it, man? This has just been going on for so long. So I mean, months now, and I'm just tired of it. It's like it counteracts the joy with all the bullshit, and so that's where kind of numb to it. And I knew I have to sell this thing with audio equipment playing. So regardless of whether I want to sell it or whether I want to keep it, I still got to get it playing. But I'm saying that like this is this is the main reason right here why I'm just very unhappy with dealing with it. And I can't say for sure that I want to keep it or I want to sell it, but selling it looks really good because of this shit. You see there, the line just shoves into the battery, and that puts the battery at just the slightest of angles, and the battery's already one hell of a tight fit. It always has been one hell of a tight fit, but you see even just the smallest of changes, and we've already tried to bend the line and started to kink the line and all that jazz. So we're trying to figure out just how to do all that. Hey, look, there it is. Mike is even filming from the inside, so we can kind of get a different view, different angle. It's just little things like this. Little things like this. They just keep getting in the way. Yep, so now because the battery's at a little bit different angle than it was before, I got to trim a little bit more of this. So Micah is headed out to his house to go grab the angle grinder so that we can trim this. And when I say trim it, I mean like it only needs a half an inch, quarter of an inch, just to clear it. See how the... You feel me? All right. Ow!
Oh, Detner got on.
Yeah, hot Detner. Ow! Ow. That is hot Detner. Why did I put Detner on there? I did a long time ago, and it was just to cover up the bare metal. I could have just painted it. I don't know why I didn't just paint it. Molten Detner on an angle grinder blade burns skin. Yeah, I put the Detner so it wasn't bare metal, just in case the battery did touch the bare metal, that at least there was some sort of barrier. And Damplifier Pro works in all temperatures, so, and all weather, so hey, it's the most durable Detner I've ever used, so hey. Usage unlocked, application unlocked. Still hitting on something. So it looks like there's some more hitting going on right there. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bite it all the way off. We're gonna bite it all the way off. That's just a little guideline. And we're gonna nip all of that off just because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with it, and I think that might be what is getting in the way. Battery's still getting hung up, so the trimming continues. We'll just keep trimming the fucking... This hood needs to be replaced anyway, man. You know anybody with a used cow hood that wants to trade for an old beat up stock hood? Just joking. So really, we got to find out where we would need to trim, because I could see in the next few years of me getting a new hood anyway. So if I know exactly where we would need to trim for that hood, then we could trim it and then go get it painted and all that jazz. So what we've been doing is taking this little piece of acoustic foam with the adhesive side out and setting it on different things and closing the hood and seeing if it can stick on what is actually bumping up against the battery. And we just set it down here and it just stuck to there. So there. So it looks like a little bit more trimming. Anyone knows that putting a Group 31 size battery under your hood is going to come with problems. It just kind of just is what it is. Hey, believe it or not, in my pickup truck, my 99 Sierra, I had 2 Group 31s under the hood at one point, one on either side behind each headlight. It's just just having this massive reserve up front, but it was all AGM, so it was kind of heavy. I'm lucky because this ultra capacitor only weighs like a freaking pound and a half, and it's just the size of the case that we got to get around. So we pulled the rag out, and now the hood closes, but it still doesn't line up perfectly, but the hood itself is kind of messed up. So that's the best we can get though, so I'll take it. On to what's next. All right, now that we got the super cap or the hood trimmed up for the super cap, we went ahead and put it in, and now this is how we marry it here. The rear lithium all gets connected to this one right here. So this is rear lithium, then this goes into super cap and everything up front. So the super, it's like two different systems, and then when the fuses are in, it links everything up to where the back bank and the front bank all works as one. So when you go with a super cap, this one is not a battery. This one has to be charged from the ground up. When you charge from the ground up, you need to trickle charge it because you can't all surge it up in there at once. It will pop and sizzle. You don't want that one. So this is the resistor light, because you can charge ultra capacitors off of existing banks, or you can charge them with battery chargers. I like to charge it with the existing battery bank, because to hook up a super capacitor you need, or ultra capacitor, they need to be the exact same voltage whenever you hook them all up. We're also giving Micah's battery a little top off. It's not a bad thing to do this every so often when you're thinking about it. You know, it depends on what sort of demand that you're asking for. Micah has the single Apex 410 with the D3400, and then we need to add another D3400 in the back, but he asks a lot of this battery, so it's not a bad idea once a month to just pop it on the charger for an hour or so, just to top it off, so it can keep riding along until we can put that other battery up in there, which will be very soon. The mechanics did come by this week and take a look at the Suburban, as I mentioned in episode 3. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Look, I got my green screen out. I was making a video for one of the homies. Y'all might see that one. I bet you will. But let's go see on the inside about these amps. So as I mentioned in episode 3, the middle 8K was not turning on. We were seeing the blue light on all of the other amps. This amp was not cutting on, so that could just be a remote that I might have misinstalled with the RCA 110, or it could be something else, but we'll see. We're about to dive into it and check into it. And now it turns on. See, we got something coming up, because that middle one has not, it just turned on. Well, I guess that's what we wanted, but we got to figure out so it always happens. Always turns on. So before we can actually turn on everything and let it play at full tilt, we got to let the super cap marry. As you can see, it's right there sitting at, well, this is just not coming up right. It's sitting at 10 something, 10.3. Yeah, it's sitting at 10.38. So we just got to let this thing get up to the resting voltage of the rear lithium, which is around 13.5. And then once they're both the same voltage, we can put the fuses in as they should be. And then this light will go dim because the voltage has regulated to be the same. Those are the tricks in putting the super cap in any install. So now we have gotten to the point of the super cap up here reading at 13.35 and the rear battery bank reading at 13.7. So they are close enough to where we can see the light gone out, and now we can marry them. I'm just joking. It's good. As long as the voltage is the same, it's ready to fuse up and marry or connect together. I love using these SMD fuse blocks for one big reason, and it's because they're very maintenance friendly. If you got to swap your fuses out, super easy to use. If the budget permits it, I always recommend SMD fuse holders. All right, man. So now the SMD fuse holder is all put together with all the 300 amp fuses. And now it's time to fire it up for the first time. All married up with the alternators. Exciting, bro. the way we have the RCAs hooked up, if I were to ever need to change the RCAs on the fly, the RCAs that, you know, actually go to the subwoofers, go from the DSP, they pop up right there. And so we can swap out bass knobs if we had to on the fly, if a bass knob were to mess up, or I were to buy a new one at a car show or whatever. It's all really easily to swap out, and then it all just goes right there. And then they don't hang out. That's what it looks like whenever it's not being messed with. And then as far as the 3 8Ks go, there was nothing wrong. All the wiring was correct. So Micah just, you know, he pulled all the wires, checked all the wires, and they were all really good. So there was really nothing to fix. It was just go over and now the amps turn on. So we'll just keep an eye on that. A lot of this equipment is older. It is older. The 8Ks are from 2020. The 15s are from 2020, 2019. It's old equipment that no matter if they've been playing or they've not been playing, they're still old equipment. So I do expect for me to have issues with some of this older equipment because it's just older and it's just been sitting here. I mean, yes, it has had a lot of play time, but it also has had a lot of just chilling time, and humidity, things like that just kind of get in the way of certain things. So crossing my fingers, but I just kind of thinking that, I mean, the subwoofers, they're going to blow out. The amplifiers, they're going to blow out sooner than if I would have just bought brand new ones and put them in, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something that in the future I'm going to have to address. In other bourbon news, Micah's bourbon's doing really, really good. Just fixing up. He has a bracket that holds the box to stay straight, and that bracket needed a few more pieces of hardware to keep it in place. But the 15s are breaking in really well, and they sound great. I mean, they ain't no complaints on these DBZs. Micah's 15s are still being underpowered, but yeah, I mean, they're doing fantastic. They're doing fantastic. So I got no bad words to say. They sound good. They're durable, and they take the beating that Micah gives them. Now, when we double the wattage, what will that unfold? But for now, with just the 3K on the 4 of them, it's a really great system. We got it. First turn on, and yes, sir, back in the game. The shit smacks. But now we're finding out what's what. Do the 4 channels run hot? Damn it, yes, they do. And they're not cranked up. They're not. I got the DSP set. They all got great ground straight to the battery bank. They just running hot. So, god damn, I need some fucking fans, bro. But them 15s, man, I missed them. Oh, they sounded good, bro. Man, they're loud as a motherfucker. Man, so we were bumping and testing some things, and Micah said, "Did you know that this is a little crack here?" I was like, I don't know. Great, man. Great. You know, we reinforced all this, but we never reinforced up there. Not to say that this crack's going to spread into something that's going to be rip this whole damn thing in half, but hell, you never know. Goddamn. I mean, that is where a lot of the pressure kind of hangs out with the subs being right there, but oh, Micah just said the other side's exactly the same. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing in the actual ride themselves. Maybe it's just a Suburban thing that any 90s Suburban would have. I don't know. But either way, it can't be a good thing, right? It can't be a great thing. Man, so listening it play there just for a second, that was what I needed, man. That also, you know, it aids into helping me, you know, do I want to? But now I know, okay, now this thing plays. Okay, now I can sell it to my broskies and not have to worry about, you know, I don't want to sell them something that's broken or something that doesn't work, something that's against my word. If I say that the thing turnkeys, plays music, can demo for hours, that's exactly what I want it to do. And that's what I'm selling it to them guys for, is something that can turnkey and play the entire day at a car show if that's what you want it to do, because that's what we prefer to build stuff. But now this is good in that regard, because then I'll be able to get everything that I'm asking for, and the guys will get a great vehicle that they can demo and have fun with. That at least makes that deal still in motion and still good, to stay in play. Here soon, we're going to take this thing out somewhere where it's not as populated, and then just tear it out, just wang the hell out of it, and just see how far we can take it. I think I'm also going to be taking these stickers off just because they're all worn out. They're all worn out. Time for a change. I'm not so hung up on even having stickers to begin with. So if I take them off and leave them off, I take them off and leave them off. As far as body work, I was showing you guys in the other episodes about the fenders being messed up. I'm going to have some sort of paint person work on this ride. Well, if I do that, then I also would like to fix the one mistake that I bought this Bourbon with. I bought this Bourbon with actually two mistakes. This in the back quarter panel and a steering issue. Fixed the steering issue, but that was a little bit different. But if I have a paint and body guy do, other paint stuff for me, I'll try to have him address that as well, or her address that as well. Be cool to get these painted as well, all white, just everything you would think color matched. And then I also need some new tires and whatnot. So a lot of other things that come into this Bourbon as well, along with fixing all the motor stuff. I got to fix that too. But as far as the system goes, hey, that shit's demo approved, bro. I love it, man. I love it, man. So hey, I'm happy to have heard the Bourbon today, but I know that the next few days will have more party in tow, and we'll continue to find any issues. You got to take these things out and bump the shit out of it to find the problems so that you can bulletproof those problems, so we don't have those problems for the demos the next time. So that's what I want to go do. I want to go out to the train tracks. Me, the boys, Micah, Butters, we'll go out there and I was like, everybody, y'all just keep an eye on all the equipment. And we're going to go out there and we're going to play it. 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 And we're going to get some footage and do all those things. And then whatever the problem is, okay, I know that the X, Y, and Z can fix those things. And boom, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And that's how you hammer out a bitchin' sword of a audio system. And then you can sell it to whomever you want to sell it to and restart over again if that's what you want to do. And for those keeping tabs on how the electrical did, let me tell you what. The two alternators, the X-Max 90s, the Super Cap, we were banging it full tilt as we did beforehand. Never dipped below 14.5. Ridiculous, man. I love that. So this thing healthy bangs at 14.5 to 15. That's where it's going to stay, and I don't think it's going to dip much below there. 846 amps churning and burning under the hood. Yeah, 180 amp hours of excess power. 1,000 farad ultra capacitor. 97 350 Chevrolet motor. Brother, that one has given a lot of problems. So no on that one, but yeah, the electrical top notch, baby. So today we have a fun trip. We're going to the muffler shop to get that exhaust leak fixed because that noise is bothering me, and I kind of want to just try to put that crap in the past and get it fixed. So we are headed down to the same muffler shop that I went and got this truck done up, and we're gonna get that exhaust manifold bolt fixed. Hopefully, we called a while back. Butters called a while back, and they said that they could do it for like under $100. So it's cool with me. I'm about to go get it fixed. But I got one little extra thing to add on to the Suburban. So check it out here, bros. What's in this box? So the Suburban, some of you may have watched some of the older videos where the Suburban got true dual exhaust, and it has Dynamax Ultra Flow, some badass straight through mufflers. But that true dual never got an X pipe. And so I bought this X pipe. Dude, they're under 30 bucks on Amazon. I didn't buy an expensive one. I just bought one that was made out of the right materials. They're all Chinese anyway. That most of the time, whenever you pay extra for these things, all you're paying for is a laser engraving on there. So this one that you're going to see how many times, right, during the install. So I got this one for, man, honestly, I think it was 25 bucks shipped to the house, 26 bucks shipped to the house. And so this one, I'm going to ask them if they can slap this thing on there. Of course, it makes it a little more expensive when it comes to the overall shop total, getting that bolt replaced. And this one might add an extra $100 to the thing. But, you know, trying to make if I have to go to the muffler shop, I think I'd rather make it a trip where I'm excited at least halfway to go, besides just fixing something that's whatever and spending money same way. I'd rather do this. I also considering chopping my cats off, but I might wait on that one. Otherwise, the Suburban's exhaust is pretty badass. It's a true dual cowboy with the cowboy cuts and the angled out there towards the rear. So let's go over to the muffler shop and let's get these things put on. All right, we just pulled up. Let's go check in with the guys. We're out here at the Alvin Auto Care, checking out the leak and checking out the alternators, bro. This is my bro here at Alvin Auto Care. He's done all the welding on all the different things that I've done, and he does a great job. He did the whole truck's exhaust too, so I'm happy that he's here. I'm gonna grab my mic here and I'm gonna try to get y'all a little listen in on the exhaust leak the way it is. So he listened under there and found out that the leak is more towards the downside versus on the upside. So he was like, oh, man, that's freaking easy. Let's have a good time. So we chit-chatted a little bit, caught up, and I'm just waiting for the bay to open up so that I can pull up in there and we get going. Man, they always take care of me so good here. And I just pull up, they fix what I need to be fixed, and we go. And that's why I just keep coming back. I like my boys here. Man, oddly enough, I just got a text message from one of the guys. Remember, I was telling you there's two guys that are wanting to buy the Suburban that I'm keeping in contact with. Well, I'm keeping them updated on everything that I have to do in case they need to back out. I don't care if those two are the particular ones that buy the Suburban. I'm going to get this thing going. I'm just giving them updated progress so they don't have to follow along the YouTube series to get progress, because I think here in the next episode, I might meet up with one of them and give them a demo, or if they're talking the right kind of cash, then it's a drop-off season in the next episode. So we'll just see. The guy that I'm talking to right now, we'll just use... I wanted to keep it private just in case it doesn't go through, so I'm not really going to talk about their names. But the one that I'm texting right now, they just so happen to text me while I'm here at the muffler shop. He's also the one that was like, dude, if you give me a big shout out on YouTube, I will put it a little extra on the pot. I'm like, oh, okay. Or, it's like when we're negotiating a price, I can get my price by just saying, bro, if we do my price, I'll also put you in the YouTube video. God damn it. All right, we'll do your price. So that's how negotiating goes when you have something to leverage like that. I don't know. So it's just kind of funny. Just some insightful stuff that you don't really run into a marketplace like that. But yeah, so we'll just see, man. I have not ruled that out. But either way, I'm going to get this thing fixed up to my liking. And then I know that my liking, other people will also bid on it as well. So the leak's up there. You see there's no nut right there. So he's going to try to put a nut on there and see if that was the problem. But if not, we'll just fix it. That's from the mechanic. It ended up not being that loose bolt. So now he's figuring out, whatever he's got to do. But looking up underneath there, it's been a while since I've done exhaust stuff in this Bourbon. And from the mid pipe forward towards the motor, that's all stock. But from the mid pipe back after the cats, it is true dualed out and everything from the stock wide pipe that would have been there. And so that's where in the future, if I get long tube headers, things like that, I got to take care of what's broken first before I can start going forward. The X pipe just kind of snuck up in there. But if I want to do the long tubes, then I'll just redo all that forward piping when that time comes. I think that's what I want to do in the future. But for now, get rid of the cats, all that. But for now, I'm just trying to get the exhaust leak fixed and that X pipe put on. Look how far that stock pipe lays down. I mean, it ain't going to hit nothing, but damn, that's crazy. Why the hell does Chevy do the pipe like that? It seems like it would just get in the way. Like if you were to just go over a curb or something, it seems like it would just get in the way. Maybe that's why it's a good delete. Man, so come to find out that mechanic ended up just like jerry rigging up the exhaust so he could get out of there and just be done with it. I don't know exactly what he did, but now he's trying to find a solution to fixing what the mechanic had done. He had went and grabbed some extra nuts and bolts, and I don't know what he was trying to do right around when he snapped these things. So I guess if you're going to be in the right spot to fix a rigged up exhaust thing, it's the muffler shop. So he's back there trying to figure out how to unrig it and fix it correctly. So after some persuasion, he got the exhaust leak fixed, and now it's X-pipe time. Let's get that figured out. Man, oh man, so my guys got me all right, got the exhaust fixed, got the X-pipe on. Big shout out to Alvin Auto Care for taking care of me, the CLY, here in episode 4. That's cool, man, getting this all done. You know, I wouldn't have to do all this if it wasn't for the mechanic. So, you know, big thank you to the damn mechanic, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have the X-pipe on here so soon. I knew I was going to do it, but just not so soon. Well, the bourbon is back. I just paid my tab, got my receipt, and no exhaust leak. So let's get back on home and get back to the garage. I am soaked. I've been here for like almost 4 hours here at the exhaust shop. There was someone in front of me. This took a lot longer. There were some more problems, but let's just get back home, bro. Ooh, man, bro. Coming back, you know I slapped the shit out of it, man. Man, whenever I'm banging that thing, dude, the voltage, nah, man, full tilt, 14.6. What? Jumped right back up 14.8. Base hits 14.6. Wait a little bit, 15 volts. Base hits 14.7. Right back up 15. God damn, we ain't gonna see 14.5 very much. And for the returning test to hear the exhaust tick now. Don't hear nothing. Nice. So there it was. The exhaust is now fixed on the Suburban. We don't have an exhaust leak. Thank you, God. Thank you. Audio gods. We don't need an exhaust leak. We just need the alternators turning. None of that sound interference when we're trying to listen to music. You know what I'm saying? I do want to give a shout out to the Alvin Auto Care guys for fixing the problems of another mechanic's mistakes, and did a great job. It was, at first I thought it was going to be pretty easy, but then it turned up being a lot harder than it was. So my bros put the puzzle together, so I really appreciate that. Now we don't have to worry about that. And we get an X-pipe out of it. Well, bro, we've gotten to a pretty good point here with the exhaust being fixed. So that kind of puts the motor stuff, except for the few little things that are still going to be worked on, but it still can drive. It doesn't have a problem driving. It's just some things that I want to get fixed. The AC doesn't work in the Bourbon no more either. So I don't have any AC. It'd be nice to get the AC all back up and going just for those demos in the hot summer where you want to roll the windows up and just run to the store and back or whatever, you know. It'd be nice to have the AC. But the thing is I have been listening to the system not 100% full tilt. It's been more of just like, okay, want to make sure we go one more click, one more click, one more click. Well, now we've gotten to the point where I need to get this thing rowdy, like super duper rowdy. I need to get all the amplifiers warm. I need to get the subwoofers warm. I need to get this thing rowdy. I need to see how long of playtime that I actually have so that I can go out to a car show and not just be sitting on my thumbs within the first 45 minutes of being at a meetup or being at a show or even just demoing somebody and being embarrassed. Plus, we're selling this damn thing possibly to the two guys that are interested in buying it. So I already kind of told them, I know, like I said before, that they would buy it as is, and both the dudes would. But I was looking at it like, man, if I'm going to put my name on the back of this thing, you know, we made these videos and all that stuff, I kind of want to, hear it, yes, but I wanted to let go of something that was in a good condition so that someone could just straight up pick up and enjoy it. And yeah, okay, a couple little things that need to be fixed. I have a list of things that it's kind of like we're going down two paths. Okay, if I keep it, then it's this list of things that I know I need to get fixed and I know I need to get replaced. That includes subwoofers, door speakers, possibly some new speaker pods, and a couple of other things that I got in my back pocket to get this thing up. Oh, I said subwoofers, yeah, because these subwoofers, I need another level up. I need 2,000 watts RMS above. These are 1,200 watts RMS, and I'm giving them 2,000 watts RMS. I need to be having a 2,000 watt RMS subwoofer, giving them, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll see where the amps lie and all that. But if I sell this thing, then we're done. We're done. So what I'm about to go do, and I'm going to take you with me, is we're going to go out to the secret spot and we're going to go hammer, hammer, hammer. And I'm going to see just how long and just how this thing performs. But I'm going to film all of it and I'm going to show you guys all the flex and all the stuff. So this is going to be a really great episode because we are going to test this things, or people might say stretch their legs. Yeah, we're going to be stretching some legs in this one. So let's go on over to the secret spot and let's get popping.
So I went and took the bourbon out this morning. It needed some more gas, so I went and put 30 bucks in the tank, and then I just drove around town just smacking the crap out of it everywhere I could go. I mean, I've been banging this thing solid no more than 2 hours, and the subs are already getting hot. That's because they just got way too much power. That's because they got way too much power, and that's just how it's always been. That's just how it's always been. But, you know, whatever, you know, I mean... Voltage stayed really nice. I think it was really just fluctuating between 14.6 and 14.8. That's honestly what I saw most of it. Shoot, man, that's it's really different going from the AGM chemistry to the lithium chemistry. It's when you're watching the voltage, it's just a little bit different than before, but it doesn't dip as low as it ever used to. So that's what I'm more worried about than anything. The lowest voltage point is where I want to stay clear away from, and I'm just not seeing very low, so I can't really complain. But that little window that I was saying, 14.8 to 14.6, 14.5 maybe, that's really the only window that I'm having to watch. But that LF voltmeter is really accurate, and so I'm able to keep a good eye on it. Nice. So we just pulled back in the house from the spot and checking out those decals. You know, I like repping all of my homies. If you all haven't seen, there's a video, I'll link it down and below. There's a video I did on brand loyalty, and it's just about all the brands, but some of these just aren't in the mix anymore. And like Tiger Vinyl is no longer around. I unfortunately had to I had to uninstall all the illest sounds, so it's not inside the Suburban. You know, I'm always going to be representing that. Let's see. Well, we still got down for sound, of course. That'll never change. Excess power. Stetson's still good. SMD still good. Second Skin, that's still in here. That's all will be here. And of course, CSP, those things will always be. These, I think this went, now it's coming back. As you know, we used to have Tiger Vinyl on the team, and so she would make all the different stickers for us whenever we needed to, but that's no longer around. So now we got to figure out someone else. So I can find someone local, or I can order something really cool. I mean, those I didn't get from her. Those, you know, a million people do vinyl stuff, and hell, even I do vinyl stuff, so it's not that big a deal. But you see, they're just in bad shape, bro. They're just in bad shape. That's okay. I might just take them all off and just go clean for a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, man. The more I take it out, and the more I, like, hell, the other day I just took it out to go pick up Panda Express, just to take it out on certain little trips, and you bump it, and you just, fresh eyes every time, every little bit. And I'm rambling on about this, but what I'm getting at is you can find all the little things that you want to upgrade or fix. You guys know what I'm talking about, bro. So I can find everything that we need to fix to make things sound better or sound this. Even though it's still a complete Suburban, a turn knob banger now, man, there's actually still a lot of little things that are like, oh man, I mean, it's not stuff we overlooked. It's just stuff that now is rising to the top after everything that was important on the to-do list was installed. Now it's rising to the top. Okay, this could be addressed. This could be addressed. This could be addressed. This could be addressed. Oh, man. If I keep this damn thing, then I'm still going to have a laundry list of work to do. But I'm on the side now of the list where I can give someone a demo and have a great time. So it's a little, we can still have a good time. But I can see this, that, to fix it or to make it better. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this thing still is a rag. This thing is still a piece of shit. So it's not like it's a badass show rig with shaved handles and crap like that. It's just a Sunday cruiser, and Tony's old school that he takes out on Sunday. Literally, today is a Sunday, and cruise out, go do my errands, and go do my things. And it's the project that we work on. So I know this isn't a $50,000 car. Hell, this isn't even probably a fucking $500 fucking truck, but with all the system in it, it makes it a little more valuable. One other thing I want to mention is that after the exhaust fix and that X-pipe, man, Bourbon runs pretty damn good. It runs really good. It still has no AC. That AC compressor is jacked up. That's one of the things that was found in the overview of the recent mechanic visit. And so that's not life or death, so I'm not crying about it, but okay. I think it's the stock AC compressor, so whatever, we gotta get it fixed at some point, but that's not that lower on the list, lower on the list to worry about. I think the tires, honestly, the tires are old, man. These tires were on this truck for, a couple of years. Now they've been on the Bourbon for 5 years. Now the Bourbon doesn't get a lot of miles, but it's over the time and different weather changes, the humidity and all that crap, and the heat, the cold, the whatever it is, the elements dry rotting that rubber up, and I don't know, bro. So new tires. I've actually started looking at new tires, set a budget of what I would need just to pop them back on, but I'm also going to look on Marketplace just to see if there's any good deals on some 5-lug swaps. You look at the budget, and then see how you can spend it. Maybe find some good sets on Marketplace. But that's how I found these rims. But I guess we'll see about that one. So we got the bros here. We got Micah, Butters, and myself. We got double bourbons in the bay. Anyway, so we're working on Micah's bourbon today. Not really my bourbon, but Micah's getting the D3400 behind the passenger, the middle seat, so that he has a little bit extra reserve in his excess power. Let's go check on that. You got the D3400, the excess power battery terminals, simple battery tray. The wires were already ran, so really Mike is kind of assembling how it's going to go. And then that D3400 will link up to the D3400 that he has up under the hood, and those will just be ran in parallel, and then he'll have the reserve of the 2 D3400s over the single. But we are about to take a short break and take my Suburban out to the train tracks yet again to go tear it up, bang it, and see if there's anything that we need to address. So as soon as it gets to the stopping point, we're about to load up in the CLY, and we're just gonna go hammer it, straight up, just the way I did it the other day. But now the bros are here, my boys are here, so I want to do it with them, right? back out here giving the 15s another beat down from the beat down broskies. Mike is here. Butters is got his HHR here. And we've just been hammering it and just letting her rip. Having a good ass time. Well, we just made it back to the house and we had some problems in the system. Uh-oh. Oh, bro. So the 8K did not turn on again. That middle 8K, the middle 8K, yeah, we're just bumping it. And Micah goes, "Hi, Tony, the middle 8K is not on." Shut them all down, checked it out. Nothing wrong. None of the wires are wrong. None of the installation part of it. Obviously, it's getting a good voltage. We didn't see below 14.62 maybe. So I don't know why that middle Stetson Bravo base 8K is not playing, but the middle two subs weren't playing right. And so then we turned it off, turned it back on, the truck, 8K popped back on. So I don't know if the 8K, whenever I first started the truck to go out there and play, I don't know. After I turned the truck back on, the 8K popped back on, we got back to slapping, and then nothing happened. Everything was like it was supposed to be there. So the 8K is either turning itself off or something. I'm missing something. That's something else we got to dig into. So that's weird. Also, you know what? The same thing happened right after that to the LAF voltmeter. So now we got to check into the LAF voltmeter. That one, and the thing with the LAF voltmeter though, we go to leave the secret spot. I turn the truck back off, turn the truck back on, voltmeter pops back on, and we got great voltage. So something's finicky. Now, could it be because the broskies are idiots and they can't wire things right? Well, maybe. But at least it shows that it does turn on, it does play. Something's just clicking off. Fucking A. But when we were out there, it sounded great. It really banged. Butters enjoyed it. Mike enjoyed it. We had a good time otherwise. Just that that weird finicky 8K turning off and the LAF voltmeter turning off, but then turning back on and performing like it never had a problem. So interesting. Oh man, so Micah's battery is now in there, the D3400 in the back with all of his OFC power wire and the battery tray with battery strap on there, wired in parallel with all of his amps, his 3K, his 15s. Man, voltage is much better. Where are we dipping at, Micah? Where are we dipping lowest at?
Before?
Yeah.
Before? 12.8, 12.7.
And then what now?
Mid-13s.
Hey, okay. All right. Instant. And then that second D3400 is up here being charged by the Apex 410 amp alternator. There we go. Jumped up an entire volt, pretty much an entire volt, whenever it's hammering with adding the battery, and he can play a little bit longer with more battery reserve. Hell yeah, dude. Amps will perform better and everything. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's that excess power battery, baby. You can go over to Showtime Electronics, use coupon code Bangin Bros, and you can get any excess power battery for the best price you're gonna find all over the internets, bro. Always got it linked down in the description of all the videos. Just use coupon code Bangin Bros, and it will unlock the lowest prices on any excess power piece of equipment. Oh yeah. So Micah's bourbon's getting all put back together so he can have his ride back. So today was kind of an interesting day. Today was Butters' last bang with the Bangin Bros here in Texas, at least for the foreseeable future. So I'm going to let him tell the whole story and everything, but I just want Butters to know that both me and Micah both appreciated him being in Bangin Bros and hanging out with us all the time. And we enjoyed his company. We enjoyed his company and we loved having him around. But from me, Butters, I first met you, around 2 years ago. And the growth I've seen over the last 2 years, I'm so proud of you. And I know that whatever's next for Butters is going to take that head on and kick its ass. Because when you are a banging bro, you're a banging bro for life, baby. Give me that. Aha!
Guys, I'm talking to y'all at the end of this segment to say that I am moving from Texas, going to the East Coast, and we're going on a little excursion. We're going not only to better thyself, but we are going there to better the environment around me. So what I'm doing is I will update you in 2 weeks on my own channels. I will have links dropped into stories and I'll have a couple posts about it. But till then, 2 weeks from now, y'all will have an update about me going to the East Coast state I'm going to, and y'all will find out where it is and what I'm doing there. So thank y'all for watching the end of this segment. Love y'all, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks.
To keep the bourbon or to sell the bourbon, it's been a lot to think about and a lot to consider, and I've had to make that decision, and I stand here today and I've made it. But let me tell you what led me to the decision of keeping it or selling it. So Bangin Bros was started a long time ago, and I've been installing audio even before that. And the whole point of enjoying the audio was to have fun with my friends. That's all it ever was, dude. To have fun with my friends, listen to music, and work on builds together, work on projects together. I love Bangin Bros. I'm one dude, right? The Bangin Bros is like this little universe that is all my friends from the past and friends from the future and all this stuff. They're all connections to Bangin Bros. It's a huge group of broskies, right? But they've come and go over the years. So I got to thinking, Butters. Unfortunately, Butters has just moved on to greener pastures, and I'm proud of him. But that's one piece that's taken away from the history of Team Bangin Bros and Bangin Bros in general, right? So that hit. Oh man, so that hit. So I got to say, Butters, you kind of influenced this little decision here, because that hit home. I was thinking about all the memories that I had with Butters as when I first met him, and then that got me thinking about all the memories that I've made with Micah, and that got me to thinking about all the memories I've made with Hunter, another past Bangin Bros member, and then Austin and Cameron and Nick and Thomas and Kevin and everybody that has helped and joined me to get to where we are today, that is Bangin Bros in 2026. Well, the one connection that I have to all those broskies, everybody that I just named, is my 1997 Chevrolet Suburban, also known as the Cocaine Land Yacht. Now, my truck as well. My truck's been around the block a while too, so those broskies all have worked on that thing too. But the bourbon has been something that everybody that I've mentioned and more have put their hands on and helped me make what it is today. So if I got rid of the Suburban, I get rid of all those memories with all those friends that I cherish more than the audio itself. I erase the flash drive of all those wonderful memories, all those connections to the people that have made me who I am today and have been a part of the journey that is Bangin Bros. No one has left or moved on for negative reasons. It's always been they have moved on because they have had opportunities that have been waiting for them on the other side. So it's never, ever, ever been about that. It's just I cherish the time I had with them while I had the time. This is the connection to all of that. So I ain't selling the Cocaine Land Yacht. I I'm keeping this motherfucker. And we're gonna tear this thing up. And we're gonna make new memories and jam-pack that hard drive with even more great Bangin Bros connections. You know? Very recently, I just started building a sound system with my fiance. It continues and keeps going. You see what I'm saying? Because at one point, I may have children. And what do I want them to connect to? The same vehicle that their uncles all worked on, their dad worked on, their mom even worked on. That's what I'm thinking, man. Legacy, legado. You know what I'm saying? So, we're keeping the bourbon, and we're just going to push forward and keep going. That doesn't mean it's going to be an easy road. It just means it's my road to drive with my bros. I appreciate you guys for rocking, though. We ain't selling this thing. Buckle up. We're turning up. Now, the other day, I did go out in the bourbon, and I mean, I know I showed y'all I went by myself, and then I went with my bros, and then, you know, Butters left, and, you know, that's when everything's really got to thinking. But I still met up with the guys that I was going to sell the Suburban to, because, man, of my word, you know, hey, bro, I'll meet you up. If anything, they got a demo, right? So, yeah, I gave them a demo, and I kind of explained to them everything, and you know what? Those guys were really, really cool about it. We had already like set the premise of, I'm not 100% sure, but you guys will be the first in line and you will be the first to know when it's time, you know, to let it go. I didn't want to rhyme, you know, Dr. Seuss, you know, Dr. Seuss. Yeah, so no harm, no foul. If anything, I met up with the guys. We got some cool demos. We swapped demos. We hung out for a little bit, and I showed them everything that we did up close. So, you know, if anything, they were actually pretty happy about it too. You know, I got some sodas from the gas station and shit. So just cool, you know, just hanging out. And they were more local guys anyway. So we all run across each other on a normal basis anyway, friends anyway. So no big deal. And I'll see them down the road at a car show or a meetup, you know, sooner or later. But yeah, you know, no amount of money in the world. I really couldn't even put a price tag on it anyway, because of all the money that I have put into the Suburban over, I mean, just this year. It's been quite a bit. You know, it still would be a hard to put a monetary value, a real monetary value, if I wasn't selling it to somebody who was a friend. You know, a friend, you're going to cut some slack to, obviously, and stuff like that. But, you know, to actually market it and put it out there for the public, if they would want to buy it and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to put a number on it. And it's hard because I don't want to put a number on it. That's why. Because over the years, I've put in so much money over the years and so much time over the years. You'll never get that money back. And that's okay. That's the kind of agreement that you make with yourself whenever you start putting money into a project vehicle. You know, that's one of those things. There's no problem with that. But, you know, when I got to comparing the money that I put into it, but then the memories that I got out of it and all the things that I got to do with my friends that we still talk about to this day. Like, oh man, I remember whenever Cameron came over and helped me put the first dual alternator setup to the first time. My brother Austin came over and helped me put the LG handles in the front door. Is really, really cool. You know, so those are like little memories that I connect the Suburban to. And then, you know, the memories with Butters finding the oil mixture with the motor. If it wasn't for Butters, he's the one who was just like, bro, can I just nose around the motor and check it out? I'm like, all right, cool. It don't bother me, of course. And then, you know, I can't put a number on how many memories I've had with Micah. Of course, Micah's helped me build the whole damn thing pretty much from the rip. I mean, I think he came in and I had already started a little bit, but then he picked up from there. And then that's kind of what I showed him how to install car audio on was the Suburban. And then you fast forward some years later and he buys his own Suburban. And so now we're doing it all over again, but in his Suburban. So that's why I love having both of the Bourbons over here. We represent a wide array of year models, you know, with if you're a fan of the OBSs, then you'll like mine. If you're a fan of the GMT 800s, you'll love Micah's. So, you know, very relatable. There's a lot of you guys watching this that already have OBSs, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The OBS and the GMT 800 are just easy to work on. They're fun to work on. I have to put them as like my favorite canvases to ever work on. Whether, you know, if comparing working on any import car or a Ford or anything like that, it's really been these two that have really been the canvas of me learning, because I got this truck whenever I was 16, and so the canvas of me learning car audio was this. And you go over here, Micah, I wanted to apply what I learned in this truck over to here when I did the walled system and all that stuff. Then as I applied it over to the Suburban, more room, more possibilities, right? Different platform, much bigger cabin. I had some different ideas that I wanted to do, more rows of seats. And then that's when Micah really jumped into the fold. And so I guess Micah's trial by fire was my Suburban. My trial by fire was the truck. And then now we're doing it with Micah's Bourbon again, kind of all over again, putting it the whatever I knew about this stuff and whatever he knew about this stuff, and we put all that crap together and think of some new ideas, and we got some really cool shit coming up. So coming up soon, I think Micah has like almost $1,000 worth of audio stuff coming for his Suburban, and he just got in almost $1,000 worth of audio stuff that y'all haven't even seen yet. I know I just showed you the battery we added to the back, but a lot more cool things that are probably going to show up next. My Suburban, we kind of got to kick it back because I got a couple more things coming in the mail, so I'm waiting for things to come in. And then Micah, he has a lot of things that we need to install, so we're going to jump on that. Another project I just picked up was this 2016 Ford Focus. Now the car's not new. It's got a couple character traits to it. This is my fiance's Focus, and we nicknamed it the Lost Focus. We don't lose focus from this one. But it is her car, and I promised her that I would help her build a system. And so we already started. And so I will make a little bit more video whenever we have the whole thing more complete. But we started working on this thing, and it's got a new head unit, the Spark bass blaster in the back off Sundown 1000 SFB. Instead of the amp I had laying around, easy on the electrical. We got a new Android head unit in there, a monster compared to what was in there before, and an AGM battery up front, as long as all OFC wire already installed as we speak right now. But then I already have a full 4 doors, new speakers with a 4-channel amplifier, a DSP, and a couple of other little things to throw in there to, give it a more well-rounded, great system. She likes heavy metal, death metal, rock music, and kind of musicals and just all sorts of different things that I don't necessarily listen to in my Suburban. So it's nice to do something that is very different and it is a challenge. I'll give you that. It's a challenge. I'm used to these big trucks, like I was saying, that easy to work on. These cars are a little bit more difficult, but whenever I make the video on this full project, I'll show you guys my comparisons and kind of what I think about doing car audio in a car versus car audio in an old full strong metal big GM vehicle and whatnot. But I'm having a great time with it, and it's really fun because I get to do it with my fiance, and I'm teaching her car audio with her car. So she's always wanted it, and I've been collecting little sound system things to put up in there. So we already got Detner up in there. I even got even more on the way, and we'll just keep making it a really good little system that she can enjoy. Low power. I never want it to really go over 2,500 watts, but I want to make the best of that 2,500 watts. So we'll use some things that you've seen on the channel before and some things that you haven't seen on the channel yet, and we'll do a little project on that one. That'll be just a video down the line, probably sooner than later. But yeah, it's something we're working on. And, doing it together, building memories and teaching her whatever I know about car audio so she can enjoy it just like me. So we're going to continue working on the Suburban, and now I have a big to-do list of things to work on. I mentioned that the middle 8K has been acting up a little bit, so that's something that we got to, I don't know, man, but Mike has had some issues with his amplifier lately, so I kind of got to help him with that. I don't kind of have to help him. I'm going to help him with that thing first because, the 8K will turn on. It just chooses when it wants to turn off real inconveniently, and the subwoofer. So, of course, those are going to be some bigger expenses. So I got a couple of small things that are still on the way for the Bourbon, and we'll do more of the updates and upgrades in the Suburban real soon too. But some of the bigger stuff, I got to put a little space in between me and that because 615s aren't cheap. And 3 monoblock amplifiers, 1 big monoblock amplifier, 2 monoblock amplifiers, whatever, as big as I need, they're not cheap either. If I had just $5,000 that someone just handed me $5,000, well, we have no problem, baby. We just be like, hey, we gonna get all this shit tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But no one's handing us $5,000. So that's okay. We'll just work a little bit and we'll save up for it, just like I had to do for the lithium batteries. In keeping it on that to-do list, one of the eyesores are these headlights. Now, I like the stock looking headlights. I don't need anything fancy with the LEDs, and to me, I want it just to look like whatever it came with. But I had my friend Aiden, the same mechanic who helped me with the radiator. He said, "Man, I saw the video you posted the other day. We need to clean those up." But what he didn't know is I had already ordered some new headlights. The headlights, these things are so cheap and easy to get, bro. It's like $50. You get a whole brand spanking new set. So I just ordered brand new ones, and we'll just put those on right now. It's raining a little bit, so we'll just give it some time. But the brand new ones, nice and clear. Like every 5 years, I go and order new headlights for whichever ride needs. Every 5 years, a ride gets a new set of headlights under $100. And this was actually a Amazon warehouse return, one of those like new. Micah just opened the box. Look at that. We got a fresh watch in the box. So down below, we're going to do live bidding on it. No, I'm just joking. But that's, it's not a Casio. It looks like a cheaper one. Oh, it is a Casio. I guess that is a cheaper one. Either way, if you were the one who returned this on Amazon, go leave a comment. I'm going to give it to Micah. Micah's probably going to wear it. I don't know. It's pretty saucy. Yeah, but anyway, guys, so I got all brand new headlights. And so no worries on that. I understand those headlights are fugly and they're worn out. So I just ordered the same exact one. I think it was like $43. It wasn't that expensive. But yeah, and you know what? Before these was the OEM ones. And then I ordered these in like 2020, 2021, swapped them out. And here we are in 26. So fresh set every 5 years for the Bourbon. That's just the way it is. Not bad. I guess if you pay under $100 every 5 years, about $20 a year when it comes down to it. Now, if you think back to episode 1, and what was the main goal? What was the main goal? But the goal so far right now is to get this thing back up turnkey banging. That's the point. Get it up and banging. And we're going to make it better than it was before. That's the point. Better than it was before. The main goal was to get it up turnkey banging. Well, at the very beginning of this episode did not share that we got it up in turnkey banging. I was able just to go take it out banging. And then the next few days next day or whatever, take it out banging, Mission accomplished, bro. Mission accomplished, man. And we couldn't have done it without you. We couldn't have done it without you following along here from episode 1 to episode 2 with those goddamn mechanics. Episode 3, episode 4, and here we are, man. So the CLY is back on the road, rolling legally and able to give demos. There was a lot of things to do to make it better, but for now, it is back up turnkey banging. So I want to thank you guys for watching and following along. And if you're not already subscribed to the Bangin Bros YouTube channel, what the fuck are you waiting on, bro? Go over and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and here on YouTube, man. We'd love to have you. Bangin Bros. We're all Bangin Bros. Because if you're banging, then you hanging, bro.
We keep the voltage high, staying above 14, you hear me? Loudest on the block, ain't nobody near me. Loudest on the block.